And everybody's in Fantasy Grounds. Well, not everybody. Oh, Sean just hasn't chose his character. Is he owned by Vince Murdoch? Yeah, yes, okay. Oh, so also, if you guys don't want to be squares anymore, I found a token creator thing that I can easily put you in like a circular token if you'd rather have a circular token for your token instead of a square.
Calling the squares.
I'm just saying if you don't want to be a square anymore, you can be a
I
circle.
don't want to be a square anymore.
Bunch of squares.
But I need that corner real estate, Corey.
Circular.
Isn't it in the assets or something like that?
Nope.
Or no?
I have a token creator. Basically, I can take any image and make it into a circular token. It's very, very quick and easy to do. So if you want me to do it, let me know. But I'm not going to do it right now.
I'll make a circle one right now.
Even though it takes like 2 seconds, super easy, I can do it on the fly anytime. But not now. Not right now. But let me know.
You just said it was complicated and you couldn't do it right now. Why you tell me
it's super easy, but I'm not interested.
You could have already done it while I was talking on, so I'm telling you I can't do it.
I could have. I probably could have done 2 by now, but I'm not going to.
I have no time.
I have no time.
I'm too busy making excuses to be able to
I
do
have
it.
so much time to explain it all. I'll do that all night, but I won't do it. No time.
This is getting complicated for your baby brain.
My G brain is feeling this real hard.
What you eating? Cookie? Looks like a big cookie.
It's a pie. It's a meat pie.
Cookie pie.
A cookie pie. Nice.
It's a minced meat pie.
Oh.
From Aussie Pies.
I had a curry pie.
Oh.
Good.
What are you eating, Andre?
Oof.
Teriyaki chicken and Brussels sprouts.
Ew. I don't like Brussels sprouts.
You just haven't had them the right way.
Kill him!
Get rid of those.
Get them!
Get them out of here.
Good news is they're already gone.
Oh. Okay, let's start. I'm gonna do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Magic Mythal Tomb of Annihilation, our 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons campaign, episode number 33. We live stream our games nearly every Sunday night starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time here on Twitch, and you can catch up on weekly sessions as well as on YouTube. Link is below. Follow us, turn on notifications, and see when we go live. My name is Corey, or Pinwarp2 here on Twitch. I'm running the game as Dungeon Master, and I'm joined by my players, Andre, who's playing Aelin, the ASMR Monk, Liz, who's playing Archie, ASMR Wizard, Brad, who's playing Baz, Loxodon Fighter, Ryan playing Blackwind, Half-Orc Ranger, John playing Jonah, Gnome Artificer, and joining us this week, Sean playing Donaquin, Turtle Druid.
Yes.
With that out of the way, recap time. Last time on Magic Mythal Tomb of Annihilation. I gotta find it. Having gotten a restful night at Port Castellar and still pondering the recent revelations there, our heroes embarked on their journey inland towards the holy city of Uptau, Mezro. The journey took a few days, but thanks to the help of some beneficial Chwinga magic, the party had a relatively easy time finding their way and made good time. Along the way, they managed to avoid several undead patrols as they made their way deep into the heavy jungle. They met another traveler, a were-tiger named Kazrasa Shade Talon, who gave them some useful tips to find the city before moving on. They then made their way into the dark jungle where they evaded yet another undead patrol and came across a strange winterscape in the jungle. Within, they encountered a frost giant named Thyra Permafrost and her 2 winter wolf companions, Rhyme and Scald. They managed to approach and parley with the wolves and the giant and learned that she was searching for artist Kimbar on behalf of her clan mistress, who you learned was Captain Drufi Storvaldsdottir of the Hildspeed, which is a ship, translates to whale spear. Drufi was apparently looking for artists as he was carrying something that belongs to the Frost Giants. However, negotiations turned sour when Thyra noticed Baz's tattoos of giant runes and was upset that he was displaying the sacred rune magic of Astoria. Baz did not back down and became irate when Thyra called him a beast. In an attempt to display dominance, Baz invoked his giant smite, growing in size. This caused the nervous wolves to attack, which kicked off a terrible battle, one which nearly cost Baz and Aelin their lives. Luckily, the party was able to defeat the foes, however. After bandaging their wounds, the party traveled a bit further, and at sunset came upon a bluff overlooking the city of Mezro. The city lay in a flooded basin. Much of the city was in ruins. They noticed a Flaming Fist camp and several boats flying their sigil in the area. Nearby, at the southernmost entrance to the city, a turtle was suspended in a wooden cage above a horde of ravenous zombies. The turtle spied the party and cried out for assistance. And that is where we find ourselves right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right this instant.
We're
So,
now.
I'll reshare the map with you guys of Mezro in case you closed it or didn't save it.
Oh, that's a good point. Happy Father's Day, Sean.
Oh yeah, happy Daddy's Day.
I keep forgetting you're a dad.
It's so new. It's such a new thing.
So new.
Like just happened.
Like, not on a day-to-day basis, but when it comes to, like, you know, a holiday.
Yeah.
Map is so
So,
big.
yeah, the map's gigantic. You might want to zoom out a bit and shrink that down. I don't control how big Fantasy Ground makes these images, okay?
You took up the whole screen. I'm like, jeez.
How far away is said portal?
So, there's no scale on this map, nor was there one given to me anywhere in the writings of Mezro, so I'm not quite sure the actual scale, but I don't think Mezro is that big. It's definitely not as big as Port Nine Zaru.
Okay.
So, even though it's the capital city, or it's not a capital city, it's just a holy city.
Holy.
But, I mean, I think the
There's
scale...
a boat on there.
Yeah, there's a little boat, so, I don't know, you can kind of extrapolate based on the size of the little boats. How big the city is. You can see some...
Maybe each hex is, what, 20 feet?
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's hexes. Okay.
Well, the boats, I don't know, the scale is wonky on this map. I think it's a bit bigger than that.
I guess, yeah, the boat is the size of a house.
Yeah, those aren't supposed to be like galleons. They're supposed to be like little rafts. So they're drawn, I would say, like this main thoroughfare, like boulevard leading through, is probably the size of like a 6-lane freeway. Like 3 lanes in each direction, like 6 lanes across. That's probably how wide that boulevard is. It's pretty big.
That's big.
So
Big boat.
extrapolate from there the distances elsewhere, but
yeah, so each probably about 20.
No, 6-lane highway would be
They're only like, what, 6? I don't know. How wide is
probably like
maybe it's
60.
close to like 40 or 50 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say 50. 50 is a round number. Each
So-
hex is roughly 50 feet across. Roughly. Scale subject to change as you go towards buildings and shit. But roughly for eyeballing purposes, yeah.
I can't
This
believe
is
this
a city
lean-to
for
is
ants?
50 feet across.
This is a city for ants? Oh my. Hey, there's a barber shop right there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well-
So I did describe the whole what you saw laid out in front of you last time. If you guys have any questions or refreshers, you can certainly ask me. I didn't put any pins on the map because you haven't explored anything. You have no idea where anything is, really, other than
know where the
general
turtle is.
landmarks.
Can you pin the turtle?
No,
Pin the
but I can show you where the turtle is with an arrow. He right there in that hex.
How many zombies are under him?
So
Roughly.
100.
Just
So
gauging.
the general layout here. So these walls are probably like let's say 40 to 50 feet tall, depending on where they are. Some of them are a bit crumbled down, so 40 to 50 feet. The towers, the ones that are intact, are along like where the gates would have been. There's no gates intact that you can see, but The towers are probably closer to like 80 feet tall. And in between, in the middle here, there's these two big like obelisk pillars that look like they may have been part of a larger structure. Perhaps there was like an archway at one point that joined the two towers, that these obelisks kind of like stood like a third of the way through the street, if you will, underneath there. So the turtle is on the closest one, on the right hand side, closest to the intact tower that you can see. The obelisk is probably 30 feet tall, like made of carved stone. And then hung from the obelisk, it looks like somebody's like hammered in like some sort of like metal ring or something into the top of the obelisk, and suspended from that ring by a rope is a wooden cage about 15 feet off the ground. So about 10 feet above the zombies underneath. The based on how the zombies are moving about very slowly, you estimate that most of this water, at least close to the cities, close to the walls, is probably only like knee to maybe like mid torso deep, because they're obviously walking on the bottom of the water. They're not swimming. And in some places, in fact, they're like only up to their ankles, so it kind of must vary. And they're kind of all milling about in kind of a wide circle, but most of them are gathered right underneath, in like probably a 30-40 foot like circle, with other stragglers off the sides of that. You would estimate they're probably, just ballparking it, there's probably like at least 100. Just kind of milling about. Probably directly underneath them, just probably about like 20 or 30 within like that small radius, like reaching up. But the rest of them are kind of scattered out across this whole kind of broken down area.
Well, I don't see any way around this. Turtle's dead.
Yeah, he's basically fucked, right?
They can't reach him, so he's probably not dead anytime soon.
Somebody shoot the rope. Oh.
Yeah, the distance from where the cage is hanging to the tower is probably like 20 feet or so.
Can we tell what type of zombies there are? Like, can we tell if they are all seeming to be slow moving, or if there's a couple of the smarter ones peppered in there?
I mean, looking through the spyglass, you don't spy any that have like the blue triangle. They look like a mix of, there's some skeletons that are moving a little bit faster, and there's others, but there doesn't seem to be any that are intelligent and fast moving. You imagine if there was, they probably would have figured out a way to get up to the cage by now. Especially since you saw those ghouls when they attacked Miller's throat, like literally jumping like probably higher than that cage is. So, and climbing up the bluff as fast as they did, like they'd be able to get to that cage if there was any of those.
Well, is there like a pathway down? Like, how?
Yeah, because we're like up on the cliff still,
Well, like,
right?
on the cliff,
There seem to be.
Yeah, you're about 100 feet up on the same bluff overlooking this wide open basin. So looking about, you can see that it looks to you like there must have been at one point like an actual road, because you've been following kind of this broken road to this bluff at this point. It looks like at one point there must have been like probably more of a slope that's since like sheared off and collapsed. But there is still kind of a rough path that leads down. It doesn't look like it's that treacherous, and it's not that far down. It's only about 100 feet, so being careful, you could probably make your way down to the water level.
Okay, well,
you wouldn't have to like climb down with ropes or anything, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so we were told that the Flaming Fist camp was on the northwest side.
Yeah.
West. So that's more west.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that's what he meant. Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about this.
Okay.
With all that.
Yeah, and there's like obvious like standing flags with the Flaming Fist on it.
Yeah. So,
So
what if we, like, where's the edge of the horde? Is it like here-ish? Like,
And
Yeah,
how far?
yeah, you can see them milling about, like, where all these, like, broken, like, stones and pillars are. You're not sure what they... Maybe it was a guardhouse or something, or a fallen gate or something, but basically just milling about where all the stonework is where the zombies are. There might be more inside the walls. In fact, you're sure there probably is, but you can't really see from the angle here because the walls are in the way.
So, like
Um,
there.
Yeah, like this
Maybe-
whole kind of area. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my proposal. If we want to save that poor defenseless, doomed creature down there, maybe we head down this cliff here, and then I'm sort of like motioning sort of with my hands like in front of everybody, like pointing this way, that way, to like around here, trying not to attract any attention, and then climb up onto this wall, and then we can go across this wall, and then
To the tower.
maybe like I can like get around this tower, jump onto this obelisk, and like get him out of that cage.
I mean, I think that's feasible. Why don't we help those odds and set a distraction or do something to pull the zombies away from that immediate spot and give you time to actually do that.
How big is the creature in there? Like, do I recognize? I've seen a turtle before, right?
I mean,
you would have seen, I think, 1 or 2 turtles at most so far in Chult. Probably
So-
at Port 9 or maybe in the distance you would have seen them like in the port or something walking, but you've never met a turtle.
So meta question. Donna was never part of our party.
No.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, we retconned he was never even on the boat at all.
Yep.
gotcha.
I
He
probably
just looks
can't
so
lift-
familiar.
I probably can't
No.
lift him.
This whole situation would be much easier if
We knew
if
him.
we knew Donna. Like, oh look, there's our friend. We can tell him, hey, do this.
Do this, and I'll do this, and
It's
it's
someone
no problem.
hanging, dangerously over zombies, obviously as a either torture or,
Yeah, I would like to
Okay.
talk to him first because we don't know why he's hanging there. Maybe he
Yeah.
deserves it. Maybe
Now-
he's like a murderous,
Now,
terrible person.
FYI,
Yes.
you heard him. He saw you guys come up on the bluff there. You would have heard him kind of like call out. So yelling wise, you could yell to him from up on the bluff. You'd have to yell pretty loud though. So how much you want to announce your own presence is a different thing. But if you got closer, certainly you'd be able to talk to him from the wall. Definitely.
Yeah.
You want to grab him and maybe bring him back up this way, though, because I could probably sneak down there with pass without trace.
I am very heavy.
Well,
As I say, technically
say-
speaking, I
get you
could
down.
fly down, but I have no way to get him out of the cage, and I can't carry him.
Well, all
Um,
the more reason then for us to, try and at a bare minimum get closer, and I think being up on the wall will be safe enough.
So,
Sundala
we
turns
gathered-
to you guys and is like, "Well, what if we get close enough to him? I could polymorph him into a bird."
Oh,
oh,
then
I can
Yeah.
get us
I could
close.
also give him a flying potion.
You'd have to throw it at him.
no, I
Well-
could fly down.
Oh,
I
you
fly-
could fly, yeah.
Yeah, and I can make a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
polymorph his
Okay,
range is
wait,
60 feet.
Can I hear them talk? Are you guys talking loud enough that I can hear what you're saying?
Definitely
you,
not.
At a
No.
normal talking volume, you wouldn't be able to hear.
Okay.
You'd
But I
have
can
to be
still hear
yelling.
them?
You can
If
kind
we
of you can see them talking to each other, but from this distance, you can't hear over like the moans of the zombies. If they were
Okay.
talking louder than normal, kind of like even a shout talk, you'd be able to hear them. Yes, but
if these are 50-foot hexes, he is roughly 800 feet away.
yeah, so you'd have to shout to hear each other.
Well, let's get closer. I will
Like I
give
say,
us nature's blessing to cover
my
us.
thing is we don't know why he's there,
Yeah.
and I don't want to just release him and piss off
No,
the flaming fist.
I'm with you, but at the same time, if we want to try and get a chance to talk to him, gotta get closer.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, I
flaming
mean,
fist. These guys aren't exactly, you know, the three, the greatest guys in the world. They're
yeah, but they control the city, and I need to be in the city. I can't fight my way through all of them. So we can't just walk up, piss them off, and then expect them to let us into the temple.
You think leaving
But
a person
maybe-
hanging above zombies in a crow's nest is a perfectly acceptable thing?
We've killed people for we don't know what he's done. He could be a terrorist. You know what I don't know.
Don't gasp. You've killed people.
Okay, sorry, I've killed people.
I think talking to him
Did
would
we
be a good
torture him?
idea. We can
Yeah,
figure out the situation.
Either way, we got to get close and
That's
unseen.
it. And that's all I'm suggesting.
Are they
The,
still?
the other thing was, originally we were going to rest for the night. Do you guys want to do that before? Or do you want to go in full strength?
Well,
I don't know that.
Not full strength.
the cover of darkness might be our friend on the old, like, getting over to him.
Corey,
Mm-hmm.
looking from up here, you said there was other things in the water, did you not? Like reptiles and stuff?
Yeah, inside the walls here, you can see that there's dozens of crocodiles sunning themselves like along the water edge there.
Okay, on the path we're thinking of going
Yeah, like from
from
there
the
to there.
bluff to the wall. Is there any that we can see in between while we still have the light?
Make a perception check with advantage. You got a spyglass.
Okay.
I'm not one for encouraging haste, but I feel like we should probably try and do this quickly so that, I mean, I would rather that we approach the Flaming Fist in the light as opposed to it seeming like we're sneaking up on them in the middle of the night, or us camping somewhere and having them stumble upon us like we're hiding.
I think it's better to approach him in the cover of darkness so that it's easier to approach him.
I think we're ignoring that we could still distract the zombies and do both.
Yeah, I mean,
If there's no fast ones down there, I can outrun them easily.
Corey,
Archie, you can't see anything in the water between. That being said, the water's not clear. It's pretty murky, so there could be things underneath the water for sure, but you don't see any obvious like crocodile school of crocodiles. I don't know what crocodile groups are called. A pack of crocodiles. But anyways, the only crocodiles you can see are not in the water. They're along the beach, like in this like little lagoon here.
A group of crocodiles is called a float.
A float of crocodiles.
That's so cute.
Oh, only when they're in the water. If they're on the land, they're called a bask.
Well, that makes sense. They're basking on the beach.
Because nobody survived.
With an original 15 on zombies, do I know if they can see in the dark?
The DM doesn't know if they can see in the dark, so let me check.
I rolled
Zombies are known for their perceptive nature.
I rolled a 15 on zombies and a 24 on ghouls. So I don't know what's all there.
Yes, most undead, including zombies, have dark vision.
Okay.
Because why not?
Because everybody gets it. So here's the thing: you're a normal human without dark vision. You die and your eyes start to rot. You can see like a motherfucker.
It's magic.
Human eyes are garbage.
The dead is magic.
I'm just
you get dark vision.
I can accept the walking corpse, but them seeing in the dark is a step too far.
Not having human limitations is too far.
I wouldn't call them seeing as much as they're just
No, they can see.
noticing. Like, well, they're dead. I'm just imagining in my own mind, like,
Oh shit.
they're reacting to disturbances. Like
Fellow
a foot.
adventurers,
Not a
please don't
foot.
leave me. I'm unable to use my magic. There seems to be some sort of magic dampening from the obelisks. I do not know the range.
Where are you?
So, does any of this look familiar from my dreams that
No.
I've had? No? Okay.
I yelled at some
Obelisk-wise, anyways. I wasn't sure if it was obelisk.
Magic dampening, that's a bunch of bullshit.
to know.
That's all I've got, man.
Hmm.
Oh, you're pretty smart, Archie.
Thanks.
Without my magic, I'm nothing.
Alright, so I like I like Black Wind's idea of maybe using some sort of magical something or other to make us quieter, and then we head
Just try
down
and get to the wall.
and try and get to the wall and just climb up.
Yeah, because you can do. You get that, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I have it. It's doesn't even have a limit on the number of people. I don't think.
As
The
long as
weird
they're
part.
within.
What is
An
it?
hour
pass,
long.
Pass without trace?
Pass without trace. It's veil. Here, I can drop it on the thing.
That's okay, I've got it. Concentration up to an hour. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you. Yeah, so as long as, basically, it's however many people can fit into a 30 feet radius around you.
A big crowd of 30 people, like in a 30-foot view of people.
Yeah, so for the duration, radiates from you. So it's not an effect you cast on others. You cast it on yourself,
Oh.
and then they have to stay within 30 feet. If you go
That's
further
actually
than
even
30
better.
feet from Blackwind, you don't get it anymore. So,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I thought it was actually just whoever was in it.
no, it's like an aura. It's an aura that
Yeah.
lasts an hour of concentrating.
So cool. I freaking love it.
It's great.
Plus 10 to dex stealth.
Yeah, plus 10 to stealth. So, sorry, is it it's one action? Is this ritual?
It's only
No.
an hour. No,
No,
it's a
it's
cast
just,
spell.
it's just,
Cast it.
it's just a cast.
Okay. So you can just
We could
you
probably-
can you can literally go poof and it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could. Are we in danger of being spotted as we go down? I mean, I can cast it down at the.
I think once
bottom?
we're at the bottom is probably
Yeah,
better.
I mean, if we're spotted, that's good because we draw them away from him. So
Well, it'd probably be the.
Well,
Flaming
I
guys.
don't think that we want to draw them
Towards
towards us
us.
while we're
No.
trying to get to the wall.
Yeah,
I
and as
mean-
far as the flaming fist presence, like you don't see any flaming fist like in this southern section. There's like one like raft. Like just because it's on the map doesn't mean it's there, right?
Sure.
That's just a
Yeah.
flavor thing for the map. But basically, at this point with this, especially with the sun, like it's pretty low in the sky, right? Like you came upon this in the early evening, still light. You probably have a couple hours of daylight left, but right now the only fist presence you see, there are boats docked near this central plaza where the big temple is, and then the rest of them seem to be over here. You can see like lit torches and things, but otherwise than that, you don't see like fist patrols or anything in this whole area. Like
Fist
on the south.
patrols. All right. Well, let's head down. I will.
How are we getting him out if magic doesn't work?
We don't
Well,
know
we-
yet.
Not
We need
sure
to
yet.
get it closer.
It's
We need to
some
find
kinda-
out if we're even gonna get
Oh
him
yeah,
out.
It's some kind of rigging, anyways.
jumping
It's-
the gun.
And
We need to have a conversation with this
Right.
turtle, see if he's worthy.
and in the
Yeah.
event that we draw their attention, I will try and lead them away. I don't know if anybody else can keep up.
To you, no, not
I'm very
natively without
bad
spells.
Masika?
Masika can, yes.
Yeah. But
She's
Don't-
awesome.
Actually, Azaka can as well.
Because they're
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah.
You two with me if things go south and we need to draw them away, I can make some
Sure.
pretty attractive noises for them.
Do we want to make this our
Pretty
second
sexy.
rendezvous point if we get split?
Back up on the cliff.
Well, just someplace we know. Just if we
Sure.
get split, where do we guys want to meet?
Sure.
That's a good call.
Fine with me.
Okay.
Ready?
So,
Sound of a
Right.
dying giraffe.
Yeah, so we're
So-
gonna climb down and then
okay.
Climb down, cast Pass Without Trace, and then make our way across the water.
You don't have an active rope of climbing right now, right?
Correct.
No.
Okay.
Because
So
I have a plot. Sorry.
In 30 days, it'll be able to talk to
so
us.
if you guys can just give me a group,
To be a surprise.
you can use acrobatics or athletics. If you have if you're proficient, otherwise dex or strength, whatever you want to climb down. I'll give you all advantage. You can help each other as you go.
Got this
I-
the same.
Where's my-
1, 2, 3,
Uh,
4. Yeah, you're
Double
fine. You guys are
11.
fine. Oh, I just wanted to see if, as a group, if you guys really f this up or not. But no, you're able to. There might be a few slips here and there, but mostly you guys are pretty good. You kind of make your way down. It probably takes you, it's probably a good thing that you didn't cast the spell at the top, because it probably takes you like 15-20 minutes to get to the bottom. And that leaves you with 300 or 400 feet of open water to the edge of that wall, probably.
Well, we might want to wait till we get a little bit of cover of darkness, because albeit the spell works like this,
They'll
but
be able to see us anyway.
yeah, it doesn't work just in wide open. You need some kind of.
Well, yeah, it gives you a +10 to the stealth check, but that does make you invisible. If anyone has line of sight on you and looks at you, they'll see you. Doesn't matter what you roll on stealth. It's not invisibility.
I'm a tree.
But it makes us quiet. That's what I'm more concerned
More or
about.
less.
Oh, yeah.
It obscures you a little bit if there's shadow.
We could take the quickest way across and then go down the wall, so we're not just swimming as long. We can go, the 200 just across to the plateau over there, and then hug the wall if we want, instead of crossing the water. I don't
Water
know.
makes noise anyways, so as
There's
we walk.
one goes there, and then go there.
And then just go down the wall, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes any difference.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I was like here, sort of thing. So you're not walking through whatever that bush is.
The shrubbery.
I don't know.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's go to there first, yeah. We move. Move. Hut. Action. Pass this out. Trace.
Flip into the water. Try and be crocodiles so they don't look like a crocodile so the zombies
There.
don't.
Sorry, I was just playing with the grid because I was having a real hard time actually seeing that grid, so now I can see it better. At least in the water, it's much more pronounced now. Okay, so you guys are down here now essentially. So you want to go like, straight across there. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
Yeah.
And then
We'll hug
And
the
then
wall.
follow the wall.
Along the wall. Sure. Okay.
So it's less time in the deeper water. Hopefully, it's more shallow.
As you get, yeah. Okay, so you want to? Are you gonna cast the spell then, Blackwind?
If
Before you start moving.
Yeah.
It's there. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
It's actually on the.
Okay, and are you guys moving? Are you guys going to be trying to move with stealth then? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's just run for it.
give me a group stealth check. Oh, you guys have +10, so I don't imagine you're gonna f this up, but it gives me a baseline of. Baz got 14.
Fuck me.
13.
I still seen you.
I'll just do this for those 3. I can add them up. I can add 10 to these. Yeah, they're okay. Zendala is. I mean, she does better than Gerald and Baz, but she's a little meh. She kind of grimaces as she goes into the water. The water is, it is not clear. It's kind of murky water. And as you're moving through, it's not like super like reedy or anything, so it's not like a swamp where you're like trudging through like mud and like long reeds or anything. But as you go across, probably the deepest it gets is probably about 5 feet deep. So some of you may need to swim a little bit, or
I can like help lift people out of the water if they get it.
Okay. But you make your way, just kind of like gliding across pretty stealthily. When you reach the far side, as you're getting close, you can see like this is like jungly tree covered in trees and vines and stuff. You do see that they don't seem to have noticed you, but you do see that there is probably a good, like, 30 or so rather large, like, baboon-looking creatures that are, like, sitting in the trees there, just kind of chomping down with really big incisors on, like, fruit and stuff from the trees, but none of them seem to have noticed your presence. They're probably... They probably weigh, like, 150, 180 pounds each. Like, they're, like, big monkey-like things. They're not, like, big, but they're, like, pretty... If they stood up full, they'd probably be, like, 4.5, almost 5 feet tall if they stood straight up, but they're on all fours.
We intimidated silverback gorillas, so.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
they're,
good
but
thing
like
you're
I said,
vegetarians.
there's at least 36 of them, if not more, in the trees there. So a big colony of them. But they don't notice you. As you reach the far wall, it gets kind of like sloped and a little like slick near the wall. So staying like right against the wall is actually pretty difficult because it's kind of slanted and slippery, where the stone is covered in like mud and moss and stuff. But you can stay within like 5-10 feet of the wall where it like levels out a little bit pretty easily. The water is not really shallower here than it has been when crossing. It still varies waist to like mid height, even against the wall.
Sure.
So you make your way across. So what, you're just gonna move along like in the water along this wall and then cross here? Or
Yeah.
what's the plan? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you keep going. When you reach the edge and kind of can look around, you do see Baz and Blackwind for sure will pick this out. It's probably taken you another like 10 minutes or so to get across the lake, and then to get to the edge of the wall. Looking around, you do see that there is movement in the water. At one point, just inside the lagoon here, past what looks to be there's a broken, like, there's big huge chunks of wall just kind of like sticking up out of the water. You do see that there's movement, like a crocodile kind of surfaces for a second and then goes underneath, but they all seem to be like inside the lagoon, not out here. I assume you keep moving unless you change. If you do something different, interrupt me and say we're stopping. We're gonna do something different.
We're going over to the wall there, and then we're gonna climb up the wall, right?
Yeah,
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. So the wall itself there's no like inside to this wall. So it's just this big thick wall. So when you get to the edge here, it's like crumbled and broken. It looks relatively easy to climb. Like there's a lot of broken like handholds and stuff. But like I said, it is about, what did I say, about 40 feet? And it's a little slick near the water. Like the first bit of it would be the hardest because of all the water and the slime and kind of stuff that's growing on it. But there's vines and things that once you get past there, so yeah, wouldn't be a super hard climb, but I will need athletics checks from everybody to climb that.
I'll stay like at the bottom. I'll be like the last person to go, and I'll like help people up, go past that first initial slippery section.
Okay, sounds good. Let me clear this so I can see it easier. Why won't it let me clear? Okay, yeah. If you guys can all give me athletics checks. Baz. It'd just be a single check, so can you guys effectively help each other? Yeah, I think there's enough room to do it.
So does that mean advantage?
Yeah.
Okay.
For some of you, that'll be a straight roll because of the.
This whole time going, I'm going to try and keep my eyes on them. And if I see any zombies and stuff that go in the way, I'm going to make noise so they stay in my general area for now.
Okay.
I don't know if I can see them and stuff like that, but I'm going to try and keep my eyes out on stuff for
give me a perception check, given that they're passing without trace. You might have lost them in the...
Maybe I stay down here, guys.
Would I roll with?
I can. Can help.
Because I'm the one that's doing the helping. I wouldn't have advantage, right?
Well, I mean, people can turn around and help you as you. Once they're up, they can turn around and help you when you get closer. Because I assume you guys are not like you have normal rope and stuff to like help each other too,
We
right?
do.
So
Normal rope? No.
yeah, you don't need to have a magic rope to use rope.
I
To
mean,
help.
I still have the rope of climbing. It just doesn't work. So
Yeah.
it's also just normal rope.
Yeah.
Okay. So Aelin, can you give me a Constitution save, please?
Oh, come on.
18. Okay. Yeah. So Aelin, as you're climbing, like you're feeling it, like having the injury, and
I mean, yeah.
you're exhausted after the full day of travel, everything. You're climbing. At one point, you slip and you kind of like jam your wrist like straight down into like this little crevice, and but it's painful, but you don't take any damage, and you manage to kind of like shrug it off without injuring yourself during the climb.
Wow.
And you get to the top with the help of your friends.
That was my punching hand.
Punching hand.
Good thing I've got a backup.
Yeah, from up here you can see the other side of the wall. So you guys are not get out of here, pointer. We'll just put you here for now. So up ahead of you, about 100 feet or so, there's a large statue holding a spear, and then beyond that, another 100 feet, another statue, and then it's probably another 100 feet to the edge of the tower. You can see more of the interior here without the wall in the way. Directly below, there is some sort of like ruined building here. It's just covered in vines. It doesn't look occupied at all. Kind of crumbled. The land does look kind of like swampy with like tangled reeds and grass and like puddles here and there and mud for most of it. But otherwise, it's pretty thickly tangled. So moving through here, while great cover, would be probably pretty slow moving to kind of like you'd probably even have to like hack your way through some like heavy vegetation in certain areas. But you can also see, yeah, there's all these crocodiles here. They're directly below you, kind of moving about and basking along the sides here. So it's probably been, we'll say it's been about 25 minutes since you cast the spell to get to this point. After climbing up here, the sun is getting a little lower. Kind of sky turning a bit orange and pink. It's probably going to be dark within an hour or so. And you can see that up here, you can see that there's some sort of like larger building that kind of like looms up out of the vegetation, and you see a what looks to be some sort of like fire, like be lit. You're not sure if it's a lamp or a torch, but there's a fire being lit, and then about a minute later, another fire is lit as well. Looks like someone's lighting torches there. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, make our way along the wall.
Make our way towards, as far as we can get towards.
See the sneaking music.
Yeah, it only takes you a couple minutes to cross. And I have a. I think I want to use this. Yeah, I like this music. The sounds of the jungle are now replaced by ominous music. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's playing that music? These zombies in a band?
Yeah.
Now I want a troop of like undead bards.
Congo, like The Walking Dead or something.
La 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 la.
Yeah, so you guys are at the edge of this tower. There is a door. It's kind of like rotted and partially caved in. It looks like at one point it was like a heavy like finished wood. It is carved. You can barely make it out with the vines and moss growing on it, but you can make out in where the broken pieces are. It looks like at one point it was carved with the symbol of Ubtao on the door. Masika, who's been pretty quiet this whole time, like quiet. I know you guys are being quiet, but she hasn't really said much. She kind of like just kind of touches it with her hand and kind of like just kind of moves some of the moss away, and she's just like kind of sighs.
This must be tough for you. I'm sorry.
She kind of looks at you and kind of shakes her head. She's like, let's just focus on what we need to do.
Indeed. So how close are we able to get to, like, because I'm guessing the tower.
Well, we can open the door,
Well, like,
look inside, and see if there's windows.
I guess that's true. But the tower doesn't, like, or the wall doesn't curve around the tower, right?
It
goes
doesn't.
up.
No, you can see that there's a door, and you assume there must be another door leading out to the other section of wall.
Okay.
But the tower itself, yeah, it's probably another 40 feet up, above. It looks like wooden tower on the map, but it's stone.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Let's go inside.
Okay.
I'm guessing we don't hear
Open the
anything.
door and check the floor first. Don't just walk in.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you do hear like the persistent kind of like droning moan of now that you're above the zombie horde. They haven't seemed to have noticed you. Sean, you've lost track of where this party went, so now you're just alone, kind of sitting in the cage, swinging softly in the.
I hope they didn't leave.
But yeah, other than
I'm gonna
that sound,
stay
you don't hear
outside
anything
of the
else.
tower. I'm
Oh,
gonna stay outside of the tower and just keep an eye on the mass and behind us.
Yeah, Masika
Okay.
and Azaka will stay wherever Aylin's going because that was the plan.
from where I'm at, on the other side of the tower, can I visualize in my head where the turtle would be and try and send him a message?
I mean, yeah, you could try, sure.
Because I don't know if I'm close enough. It goes up. It's 120 feet. It goes through things.
You'd be
Maybe.
pretty. I mean, Archie's a pretty good person when it comes to gauging like distances and scales and stuff, being a map maker and everything. You're probably outside of the range.
Okay.
He's probably more like 150 to 200 feet from where you are right now.
It also only goes through 1 foot of stone, so I'd probably figure
If
that
the tower, yeah, he's probably too thick anyways.
Well,
yeah.
It goes around things though, so it would go out the window
That's
instead
true.
of going straight
Oh,
through the stone.
Okay. Fair
that's true. If it does,
enough. Yeah, if you were like in the middle of the tower, you'd definitely be in range of Sean.
Okay.
But
I just need to get a little bit closer, and I can talk to him.
And based
so-
on the map,
Then
you should only be like maybe 80 feet away.
don't worry about the scale on the map. It's just for ballparking stuff.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So Badge, you say you were
Yep.
opening the door. Okay, the door is stuck fast, swollen with water and age in the door frame. You want to try to like force it open?
I'll take
We
a.
can crawl through.
I
So
have a crowbar. I'll take my crowbar out and I'll try to. I don't want to make a ton of noise doing this. I'm not just gonna, slam against it. But I'll use a crowbar to try and pry it.
And there's no windows or openings that maybe we could get to. that are-
not close
Not
by,
really?
not on the wall. There are some windows on the front of the tower, kind of like midway down, looking out towards the front that you can see on the front here. But you'd have to somehow
Direction
like
I'm going.
yeah, you'd have to like get out on the wall and then down to them. Which, but yeah,
That's
there's
not the way we want to go. Not really.
Yeah, so you can make a strength check with advantage because you're using a crowbar. So just straight roll because you're exhausted.
Could I guide him? Give him
Yeah.
a little.
Sure. Add a d4, which is probably good. Nice, 15 was the target. So with Jonah's help, he's like, looks weak here. Adjust your torque a little bit, and you're like, oh, thanks, Jonah. Pop. Unfortunately, it's not quiet, but it's not like crashing through a door loud. But it kind of like creaks and then and kind of swings open.
Pull the bit.
Sean, what's your passive perception? 13. Yeah, you would have heard that with a 13, barely over the din of the zombies. Yeah, the door swings open. Inside is a stone-floored like circular room. There is one other exit here, which is on the northern wall. Also a big mahogany door. that looks similar to the one you just busted. You can see there's a scattering of. It looks like the roof has been like leaking. So there's like big puddles of kind of stagnant water, buzzing of like all sorts of like biting insects and like skittering like roaches and things and like tiny lizards just like scattering away from the door, and like broken moldering like furniture, an old table that's partially collapsed, and there are two bodies lying on the floor. They are skeletons covered in like moss. They don't seem to be moving.
Gross. Are there any windows?
Coming on there.
There is one window in the western wall that would like look out. Other than that, no, there's no windows here. There is as well. Sorry, there is as well on the kind of like the northwest wall. There is a ladder. It looks like it's not in good shape, like rickety and like moldering. That leads up about 10 feet to a trapdoor that's closed.
Does the floor seem like structurally stable? Given my
Test it with
you can make a investigation check with advantage. So
Yeah,
again,
yes,
straight
so-
roll. That exhaustion's really effing with
really
you here,
keeping
but you got the masonry thing. So yeah, I mean looks solid. The construction of these walls looks like it was built to withstand the ravages of time. So it looks
Right.
solid to you.
I'll motion for everyone, like, good, come on in.
I would like to make my way across over to the window and see if I can get a bead on the cage.
Okay. Blackwind, where are you? Because if Aelin, Masika, and Azak are staying outside the tower and Arch is going to the far side, they can't both be within your radius. You'll be a bit too far.
Yeah,
You've only got
we're
30
standing still, so better to follow them.
Yeah, I'm going with them, and while she's going to the window, hopefully I can stay in range. I want to see if I can either A, climb that rickety ladder, or B, find a way to climb beside it to get to that.
As a note,
You could, the ladder is probably only about 20 feet from the window, so you could easily be within range and investigate. Yeah.
if we need to do some stealthy climbing, I do have spider climb prepared today, which will allow you to just walk on walls. Which is, if Aelin hadn't made it up, I was gonna give it to you. But I would let Blackwind know that if he wants to be like doing climbing stuff a lot, I do have.
The turtle also said magic wasn't really working near him, so
Right, so
maybe yeah.
But by the way, Zendala has. Oh, she doesn't have that. Never mind. Oh no, she does. Zendala has like prestidigitation to herself, like clean and dry. She didn't offer to do that with anybody else, by the way, but she did it for herself.
Of course.
Nobody does.
we'll be testing the magic thing out here to see if this will work. Yeah, if I can make my way over to the window, I would like to try and cast message.
Okay.
To the door.
The window is kind of this wide portal that's kind of just like tapered at the top. It's probably you could like turn sideways and maybe shimmy your way out if you needed to. It's wide enough to get out, but it's not designed for like for example like Baz. Probably Blackwind's too big as well to get through there, and actually like it's pretty thin. It's probably more designed to be able to like shoot arrows down than it is to actually climb in and out, but you can see out of it just fine. Looking down, you can see that like the top of the obelisk is almost even with this window. It's probably a little bit lower, and then the turtle is like about halfway down on the obelisk, so about like 20 feet down, and maybe like 45, 50 feet. No, not even. Maybe like 30 feet or so out. So you can see him sitting there. He's kind of like peering that direction, like he looking for you guys, but doesn't see you, unfortunately.
I would try to I would try to just be like, "Hello, Mr. Turtle, sir. Please don't be alarmed. I'm using magic to talk to you. My name's Arch," and see if that goes through.
Okay. When you use message, just because of the distance you are from him, when you use message, you have to talk in a normal volume?
It's a whisper.
Okay.
You point your finger.
So you're whispering this, and it goes to
so I'm
amplify it in
pointing
their
the
ear.
finger, whispering basically, and then he hears it just as a whisper in his ear.
Okay. Donquin, you hear nothing. And there's no response.
Who puts an anti-magic thing on us?
Something that's keeping a spellcaster imprisoned.
Just throw him into the.
Just throw him into the zombies.
Oh.
No, I don't want to restart my computer windows. Snooze.
I'd let the.
Change that.
Obviously, if there's no response, I would try in a couple different languages and.
Yeah, same thing. Donquin hears nothing. You don't get any response. You don't know if it's not going through because it's casting. It's not like your spell's not working. It's just nothing's happening. Blackman, give me an investigation check as you're checking out this ladder.
Investigation. Okie dokie. I am going to invest in natural 20s.
Yeah, this ladder will not support your weight if you try to climb it. That said, the walls, I mean, they're kind of pitted. You might be able to climb it. It'd be difficult, but some of your athletical ability might be able to climb the wall anyways, using what's left of the ladder and to get up there. But it wouldn't be easy, but it's possible.
There's not much for anything that I could use to stack or anything, eh? It's mostly moldy.
Nothing that looks sturdy. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting my message. He talked to us in common, right? When you yelled up, it was in common. Okay. Yeah. So I wouldn't need to try.
If Sean decided to use like some random exotic language.
Portal.
Yeah, he's not. He said anti-magic, and it seems like that's the case. He's not getting. I can't whisper to him, so I can talk, but I might draw zombie notice. But
Well, I think we're gonna draw zombie notice as soon as we try to do anything.
Let's. There's one more door here. Let's see what condition it is in. That leads up to the other wall, right? Is that where it's heading? You said there was another door.
The other door is in the northern wall.
The hatch is going to be tricky to get to if we wanted to go up there. Let's see what this door brings.
Yeah, and as far as you can tell, there's no way to go down in this tower.
Does the ladder look like it would support Jonah's weight?
Oh, possibly.
Black. How much does Jonah weigh? With assuming he took off his backpack and shit.
Like 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
With his backpack.
Do I have that stat at hand?
I mean, you can't be more than like.
Might be in your notes.
40?
It says weight 20. That doesn't sound right.
Weight 20 pounds. That's what my says.
It's probably
so
the modifier, so you're like 60 pounds or something. I can't remember. I think they're like 40 or 50 starting.
Like my little runty corgi is
pounds.
20 pounds. Like I think Jonah's got to be
40
more than
pounds.
that.
40 pounds.
40 sounds reasonable for a little gnome. Yeah.
40 to 45.
Assuming you don't have any gear on, so that plus your armor and shit, unless you took it all off.
Yeah,
so.
my armor is like 20 pounds. And
Yeah, which doesn't make
It's not
sense.
really
It should be
20
smaller.
pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
there's half the, at least half.
It used to be that way, but then they ditched that rule in favor of ease of bookkeeping. Anyways, so yeah, it's possible that if Jonah put down most of his gear, that it might support his weight. Maybe. No guarantees, though.
And we could like fire Jonah out of a cannon and do some real damage.
Catapult.
I think at one time I wanted to like ride a badger or something. And you had to have, so I went with the lowest weight I could get away with.
Before we venture up that, let's maybe see what this door does down here. It's probably swollen and shut as well.
I mean,
More than
it
likely.
looks like the other door. It's like all like rain soaked and definitely.
I'll crowbar it open.
Strength check.
Or
We'll guide him.
You could
I'm gonna say we could.
help Gerald.
Gerald.
Gerald. He won't be quiet at all. He will just try and rip through.
Well, he gets a natural 10 with it automatically.
And even with Jonah trying to like guide you, like you're just you're doing that thing where you're like straining a bit, and then suddenly you realize just how like tired you are, and your arms just you're just like, okay, let's take a moment here. And
Hand the crowbar over to Gerald. Gerald, you think you can handle this?
Gerald. Does that mean he gets? You're helping, Gerald?
I'm
Well, the
helping.
crowbar gives him
the
advantage.
crowbar gives
Oh.
you advantage, yeah.
Would Gerald listen to me if I gave him some advice?
He's a creature, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's,
He's like his thing is to listen to your guys' instructions.
You
Okay.
you can guidance a golem.
He's
I will
basically
guidance the dog.
only ever guidance.
Nice.
You know?
Gerald, just kind of like pop, and the whole thing kind of like breaks off. The entire door, as he pops it, the entire door kind of just like right off the hinges goes and lands on the walkway.
Oh.
You definitely heard that. You hear like a kind of an increased kind of like cadence of moaning, and Sean, all the zombies that, not all of them, but a lot of the zombies that are just kind of milling about, kind of like turn the direction of the tower, kind of like as if they're like looking for something, sort of, but they don't see because of the angle and everything. They don't see where it came from, but you definitely heard that for sure.
Everything okay in there?
Yeah. Good.
Just opening a door.
Hmm.
Oof.
Yeah, and you can see a long walkway that goes hundreds and hundreds of feet northwards.
Should I just try talking? Just
Sure.
call out?
Sure. I mean, like I said, I mean,
Close as we can.
anything that we do, we're going to attract these things' attention, and it is what it is.
Well, where's the rigging lead to? Is there there's like rope and whatever? There's got to be some kind of rigging that.
There is literally a stone. There's like a ring that's been hammered into the obelisk that there's
Yeah.
a rope tied to that's tied to the top of the cage.
All right. Can I get up the
You'd
The
have
obelisk?
to jump.
The obelisk is
Yeah.
about like 25 feet away from the tower.
that's
We're
a,
in
probably just a hair outside.
obelisk is over there.
Let me see here. Yeah, so if we can get to the rope and then pull the rope up, I suppose.
Zendal kind of shrugs, and she's like, "Why do we care about this turtle?"
That's why I want to talk to him, but I don't want to draw the zombies' attention until everybody's ready.
Why do we-
Zendala kind of like looks over at the door. She's like, I think that ship sailed there.
Why do
Talk
we
to him.
want to let anybody get eaten by zombies without...
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna lean out the
Shrug,
window.
She's like, okay, savior of the jungle, go for it. She kind of leans back against the wall. Let me know when you're done.
We're out there.
Throw her
Yeah.
out
Always
there.
use a distraction.
I'm not gonna lean out the window. I'm just gonna kind of like talk out the window. So I'm not like, hi zombies, I'm right here. But I'm just kind of like talking out the window but I'm not gonna lean out. So
You're also like 30, 40 feet up from where the zombies are.
sure.
It's not like they'll be able to
Not like they
grab
can
you.
fly up.
No, but they could climb. So I don't want them congregating right under me immediately.
Sure.
Maybe it'll be a little bit confusing of where they're not
Like
smart.
the slowest climb ever. They're coming.
Yeah, so I'll call out the window. I'll just be like, hello, Mr. Turtle, sir. Everything okay out there?
No. Please don't leave me.
You seem to have found yourself in quite the pickle. What happened?
I do not like this cage.
Why are you in it?
The flaming fist guards put me here. I didn't have a charter or something.
Oh, yeah. Not great. Okay. That
It's-
doesn't seem.
I've been here for days. There's been nobody but you guys.
Does he sound believable?
And those guys. And I point down there.
But you don't know what happened to my friends. No, but
Well,
I
in
mean,
order
I guess we could leave him there then and rest.
All right. You're good then? All right.
been here for days. I'm so hungry.
Oh boy. Oh, oh boy.
Sean, are you lying?
What?
Just said, are you lying?
No,
Okay.
I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth.
Are
Okay.
you lying now?
Because otherwise, because if you were lying, you'd have to make a bluff or a bluff check to try to oppose the insight. But he seems sincere.
He seems.
Man,
I believe
that's a
him.
pickle.
Well, how about
One of us needs to get onto the obelisk, or we need to find a way to get.
Zendala? You said that you could turn someone into a flying creature.
He's like, I could, but haven't we established he's in some sort of anti-magic field?
Right.
Yeah, well, sure, but it would certainly make, getting to that area much easier.
She's like, yes, but if I turn somebody into a bird, for example, and they fly into that field, they will immediately revert and fall into that zombie horde.
Yeah,
No.
we need to see where
But-
the field.
But what if what if I fly, to the top of the obelisk, and then if I then get turned off, at least I'll be falling onto the obelisk.
So you're saying fly up and then come down, but
and then I'll
we
just
don't.
catch
Okay, okay.
So you want us to landing?
Can I shoot? Oh boy.
shoot the turtle.
Well, no, I
Put him out of his misery.
thought was I throw a fireball towards the obelisk and see where it fizzles out, so we can get an idea of how big the anti-magic field is. If you could fly to the top of it,
Sure.
You're gonna.
it's. I mean, it'll draw attention, but
I mean, you're.
Just-
Yeah.
I mean, at least we're on a wall.
As annoying as she might be, she's not wrong. That ship has kind of sailed, I think.
okay.
Well, looking down, they're not going completely berserk.
Yeah, they're not frenzied or anything.
Yeah, and and the turtle just said that he's been here for a few days, so it's not like
Alright.
there are any. It's
Yeah, and Sean, when you were put in this cage, or when you awoke in this cage, I should say, there was maybe like 1 or 2 zombies.
Yeah, there's been much more.
Now there's a lot more. They've just been slowly trickling in.
Turtles.
All right, I'll throw a few firebolts just
I-
to the field from the window, just like towards the top, to see if it fizzles out.
Give me an intelligence check.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, you're able to like triangulate basically the edges of the field as best as possible. It looks like it extends from the obelisk approximately 30 feet in any given direction.
Oof.
Including the top of the whole obelisk, 30 feet.
Yeah.
Diameter.
Yeah, basically, no, not quite 30. Sorry, probably about 20. About 20 feet in all directions from the obelisk, from the bottom to the top, as far as you can tell. Because you're not that far away. Like you're only like 30 feet away. So when you're when you cast one like straight out, it goes like 10 feet and goes and just disappears. And then you kind of trying to angle from the window to get outside of that. You're not 100%, but yeah, it looks like it extends all the way to the ground at least. Which is a problem because you when you like, not a problem, but well, I mean it's a problem, but when you fire down, like not probably worried about hitting the zombies underneath the cage, it fizzles out before it hits any of those zombies that are congregating around the ground either.
Okay.
That happened by hiding my shell.
I'd say that there must be something that they use to get him up there, like to help get up there. So is there
They
any
probably
other?
used it and then took it away.
Yeah, if they
Well,
control the
is there
field.
another building? Like it looks like another building nearby, right? or is that actually part of it?
Is there the other building across the way? What does it look like?
What, this one over here?
Yeah,
I just wasn't sure what this
ba-
was either.
Well, this
that one's all ruined.
yeah, this is a tower just like yours, except it's the entire top portion is collapsed inwards.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just the other side. And there's two obelisks. They're at equal distance, about a third of the way and 2/3 of the way across that opening. There's no ring or cage on the other one.
Yeah.
This building here, yeah, I mean you saw it from the wall. It looks like just an old building that's kind of like crumbled and covered in vines and ruins. Didn't look habitable, but it's on the right hand side of the wall.
And how far down from the window, roughly, did you say the cage was? Like from the side of our tower, roughly.
So he's about halfway down the obelisk. You're about 30. You're about 40 feet up. So it's like 20 feet down and like about 30 feet across to it.
Okay, so here's my idea. I cast Spider Climb on Blackwind. We give him a rope, maybe 2 tied together. He walks around the edge of our tower. He throws the rope down to the turtle in the cage. Turtle ties it to the cage, and then Blackwind pulls it up towards him. Where did we go from there? I'm not sure.
The rope on the cage to the ring is like 10 feet from the top of the cage to the ring. So at most you'd be able to pull it 10 feet away from the obelisk without cutting that first rope that's attached to it. And then it would swing, however, the length of your rope down, hopefully not to the ground. Do the math on that one.
I'm thinking I might have to just make a flying monkey leap, maybe, with spider climb.
But Spider Climb is gone. Once you hit that obelisk, you no longer have it.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
And to give you an idea of the obelisk itself, the obelisk itself is not like this big, huge circular pillar. It's probably maybe 3-4 feet across on either side, kind of this square obelisk with like a point, kind of like Washington Monument style, kind of like a point on the top. And then about 30 feet up on it, there's looks like hammered into the obelisk, there's like an iron ring that's been hammered there that the rope's tied onto to the top of the cage. How did they get up there and do that? I don't know. A big ladder?
Where's the door to the cage?
The door to the... It's just on the side. It's got...
Okay.
It is locked. There's like a padlock on it. Character hasn't been able to strength his way out or break it. Cage itself looks pretty sturdy. Like, it's not like an old moldery cage. It looks like recent.
We should explore that hatch then. See if we can get up into there. Maybe there's something up there.
And he's just above the zombies?
So the ring's 30 feet up from the ground. There's 10 feet of rope. The cage, which is like 5 foot. And then, 15 feet from the ground is where the bottom of the cage is. So he's about 10 feet up from... 10 and maybe 12 feet up from the grasping arms.
12 feet. Still
Well,
high.
the hatch might have something up there.
I am inclined to agree. At the very least, it's worth investigating. Jonah, do you want to maybe attempt going up that ladder, and I'll stand beneath it just in case?
Do you want me just to Spider Climb Blackwind? It lasts for an hour.
Rest soon, anyways. Eventually, so
Sure.
this will move
We
it
can
along.
try that first.
Yeah, I just don't want you to fall and get hurt. If I can we can bypass it, but it's up to you. I don't know.
He said it would be difficult, but not impossible. But I mean, this will speed stuff up along. Instead of trying to open a hatch that's probably swollen shut too.
The only other... Could we make a ladder? Like, make a ladder?
Like
Just spend
hammer
some
and nails.
I mean, do you have materials to make a ladder? Like there's like
That's what I'm asking.
the wood in here is not really usable. It's all rotted through, soaking wet, and so like you wouldn't be able to from there's no material in the room that you could make a ladder out of that's any better than the rotting ladder that's sitting there. There's plenty of trees growing on the inside of the wall if you wanted to harvest fresh wood, but that would obviously take time and effort and tools. And
I think we got
What's
the
that
tools and
chopping
expertise.
noise?
Just really, do we have the time?
I
Yeah.
think the spell is probably the better way to go.
Yeah.
I can
Right.
somebody can literally spider themselves all over the place here. So
I'm thinking Blackwind because given you're exhausted, he's got pretty good strength and dex.
Yeah.
So if he's got to do anything physical, he's better at it than.
what are you saying about Jonah? I'm just kidding.
I'm saying it about me too.
I know.
You know, like, because given that you and Aelin are both tired.
Sure.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. You could barely climb up the wall, brother. Okay, yeah, I will cast Spider Climb on Blackwind and tell him to be careful.
Okay.
pickle.
Blackwind, you suddenly feel infused with the abilities of a sticky spider. You can walk up walls and along ceilings
Start
just fine.
Shooting spider webs. No.
Well, not quite that far, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Up to the hatch there, and
Oh, because it's con-
Okay.
let's see if it pushes open.
Yeah, the hatch doesn't seem to be locked. It's not stuck. You're able to just kind of go up there and
Okay.
opens.
Do one of you guys have a rope? I'll.
Oh,
toss
sure.
it. If you hand me a rope, I'll
Gerald's
pick
got
it
a
up.
lot.
And see if I can tie it to something up here, and then.
Yeah. Up there, on the next floor up is a smaller chamber that kind of tapers to more of a point, kind of like a dome. Up here there is a series of windows that look out. They're small, like arrow slit kind of windows as well, looking out over the entrance south and also kind of just inside. Just kind of like every 10 feet or so along the wall. There are again, there's like water and bugs and stuff, and there's a big hole in the ceiling that looks like it's partially caved in. So there's some rubble and planks and stuff, and looks like stacks of like crates and things and barrels and that kind of thing stacked up here. You can also see that there's like a few like foot lockers and a couple maybe old moldery beds, but they just look like flower beds now. There's like all these plants growing out of this rotting mattress. Well, it's probably, the mattress probably is just like soil by now. Like there's no mattress left. It's just kind of like this bed frame with like all these plants growing in it. Again, there's you do see as well that there is leaning against the far wall. There is what looks to be a skeletal, like moldy, covered in moss as well, holding what looks to be like a kind of like rotted bow. The bowstring's long rotted away.
I give it a little nudge with the butt end of my glaive to make sure.
It does not respond. It just kind of like slumps over. The skull falls off.
Stabs you in the face. No. Okay. Yeah. So, is there something I could tie the rope to that would be good?
There's probably like a wall sconce or something that looks pretty sturdy, like an iron sconce on the wall that's attached.
I'll wrap it around it, and then I'll hold on to it so that it's kind of a pulley around it.
Sure.
And I'll get a couple other people up here to investigate with me. And it kind of seems a little bit safer up here.
Yeah, and you could because you're spider climbing, you could easily, if you wanted to go out on the roof, you could easily just walk up out that hole and onto the roof.
Okay. Once I get somebody else up here so that they can take over the anchor, so I just don't want the sconce to rip off and nail somebody in the head. So
that would not be fun.
A sconce to the head.
I don't think it's a good idea for me to go up there at all, given my size and weight.
Well, it's safe up here.
Can I even go through that hatch?
Yeah, you'd be able to. You can fit through. Yeah.
All right, then I'll go up then.
Sure.
I mean, hopefully it's simple for you.
Make an athletics check. You can be guided if Jonah wants to guide you.
Oh my god!
And I don't have advantage, right?
If Blackman's helping you, you would.
All right.
Using a rope, anyways. That's
I
for
would
what
guide
it's
him.
worth.
Jesus fucking
Oof.
Christ!
Eh.
Like,
Nope.
Oof.
I
Yeah,
think
you
roll-
try. It's like gym class. You try. You get like halfway up, and your arm's gonna give out, and you like drop back down.
almost
arms
all
muscles in your arms burning.
entirely single-digit rolls, except for one investigation check to see that the floor wouldn't fall away.
Everything okay in there?
Pooped.
I'd say that you
Yeah,
guys
I
could
feel
all
that.
probably come in here if we want to gather somewhere. It might be nicer up here. It's kind of hidden and obviously hard to get to.
Corey,
Mm-hmm.
just as a curiosity, because I don't think it says in the spell, my familiar, is it physical, or if it enters an anti-magic field, does it
It poof.
go away? It poofs?
It's not physical. It's technically a spirit that takes the form of an animal, so it's a magical.
Okay.
That's the way I interpret it. It's if you any summoned creature that goes into a anti-magic field would poof out.
You guys kidding around down there and get.
I'll climb up.
Yeah, I will
Quick.
give her some guidance.
Okay.
Left hand, right hand, left hand.
Is it just it's a normal check, right?
It's athletics advantage with guidance.
Oh, advantage. Okay. It's fine. Gerald, stay here.
Woo!
Barely. You barely climb up, but you make it. With
I'm a
Blackman's
wee-
help grabbing you and pulling you up the rest of the way, you manage to make it to the top. You are now also in this room that I've described before. You can still see the turtle now about 15 further feet down than he was before.
Sorry,
I know, they're lowering him.
we're just trying to figure out how to get to you. It's quite the pickle.
High ground is the best. All right, you anchor and assist the next person coming up. If there is another person coming up, I'll go and start maybe seeing if there's anything or that I can see, maybe
Sure.
from the high vantage points.
I mean, we could just go ask the Flaming Fist to let him go.
Yeah, that might be actually a
Seems
good
reasonable.
option. If his thing is paying a charter, maybe we can buy his freedom or do a favor.
He mentioned something about others, so he had people with them.
We could say we're meeting here. Maybe we can get him under our charter.
I don't know. These guys, we could. I don't trust them. They seem to be a bit shady, and
Oh, but we don't know.
so
Ask.
I mean, there's not a lot of options. I just stating that he's not. He doesn't trust them. The obvious.
It's just, I don't know.
That's what I say.
Willy nilly isn't exactly
No, it's fair.
playing well either, right?
Like I said, there's not a lot of options. I understand.
Or I guess to me,
But-
I feel like we run the risk of them saying no, screw you, and leave it there, and then I feel like it's better to ask forgiveness than to get permission in situations, especially given the danger that he's feeling.
Yeah, why would they risk their own troops for someone they're trying to punish?
Yeah. Well, I'm out of ideas.
Did he mention if he's got a certain amount of time to stay in there, or
He just said he'd been in there for days and he's hungry.
He's literally within earshot. You could just ask him, guys.
Mm-hmm.
nobody asked him that?
No.
Did they?
No one knows.
He doesn't even speak languages.
Mr. Turtle, sir, Did they happen to say how long they were going to keep you in there?
I poked my head out of my shell because I was hiding, and I go, no, I woke up here after they captured me and possibly my brother. I don't know. I woke up in the cage, and I don't know, Corey, if I've seen any stuff since I've been here, but
No, the
There's
last
been a-
interaction you had with them was them pummeling you to unconsciousness, and then you
Oh.
woke up in this cage and haven't
Okay.
seen one since.
Okay. I have not seen them since. I've just seen zombies. They are not very good conversationalists.
Well, here's my idea. And frankly, it is going to put, people at risk. But I think it could work. One of us needs to literally just jump over to the obelisk and with a rope, and then with the rope and then some way to break the padlock on the cage. And then we give the rope to the turtle. Tell him to hang on, to maybe tie it around his waist. Jumps out of the cage, and we, on the other side, just pull him up, and we throw the rope back to the person that's hanging to the obelisk, and we do the same thing to them. It's a messy solution, but I think it would work.
So somebody jumps.
Yes.
Do we want to try and get the zombies away first?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get the zombies away first.
So we cause a distraction outside, pull the zombies away.
Away from the anti-magic shell.
Yeah.
Away from the null zone. I don't know if we know it's anti-magic. And then we have some people deal with the zombies, and we have a couple people go rescue the guy.
Do we have anybody with illusions? Like an illusion that might pull them
Well,
away?
also, how many... I think we can just take the zombies if we just get them away from where they are now.
I can stand on the wall and we can just firebolt over and over again.
Yeah.
That's a distraction. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and I think Aelin could lure them to the wall.
Yeah, we just need to get them away from the obelisk first.
Yeah. Just get them away from the obelisk first.
I feel like if we just start hitting some of them to move them away,
like... Can we hit them?
It's only 20 feet, right? There's like 100 zombies. They're not all gonna fit in that 20-foot.
They're very slim.
They're very slim. They haven't been eating much.
They're all squeezed.
I'm just saying, if we start just throwing fire things at the ones on the edge, probably gonna catch the attention of most of them after a bit of time.
Yeah. I think Aelin would make good bait. He looks...
Thanks, Jonah.
Do we have to use a real person? Like, there's
That's
no...
my thing. If we can
magical...
use magic, I'd rather not put a person at risk.
I trust Aelin. I think he's faster than a zombie.
He couldn't climb the wall the first time.
I don't need to climb. I just need to run. I'm good at that.
I have a lock-picking kit. It's not magical or anything, so I could pick the lock. I'm trained in those tools.
I'm just trying to look up jumping right now.
Well, I was hoping somebody could maybe throw me.
Well, I was thinking how far jumping could get us. I think jumping might be easier.
Jump distance is the length is your strength ability score.
Yeah.
That's the number of distance you can jump.
So I could jump backwards 10 feet.
So I can jump 17 feet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a running.
With a running start, you can jump that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then plus, that's like, then you just go straight down afterwards. The parabola.
This is magic, but if I was small, do you think you could throw me farther, even though I might get bigger when I hit this weird anti-magic thing? I asked the gods
How do you stop once you hit the obelisk and not just hit it and fall?
I
Natural
grab it.
ones.
Do we have? Oh no, that's easy. I take out my tar that I've been making. I'm gonna cover myself with tar.
Make yourself real
The pitch.
sticky.
Love it.
And then
Can we make a
Baz can
swing
throw me if
downward?
I'm little. I mean,
Why
I'll
do
get
we-
bigger, but I imagine if I'm little, he can throw me a little farther,
I'm just.
and then I'll unlock it.
Could we make a
You guys
swing?
can't attach a rope to me, so if anything goes wrong, you just pull me up. The worst that happens is I have a zombie on me or something.
Could we
You guys are
not
stronger than a couple zombies.
fashion
so-
a swing though? Would making a swing to kind of do that instead of throwing somebody haphazardly might be safer.
What are you gonna swing from?
What are you gonna swing
Yeah,
from?
yeah. I mean, that's not.
Doesn't any of the ropes have?
We still. Well, yeah, but in order to make the swing, you need the pivot point like above the obelisk.
I mean, I
Yeah,
get
that
the
way.
picture, but I don't. I'm not good at theater of the mind.
Yeah. And I think the swing is sort of like if you attach a rope to me, the swing's sort of like where we're standing, which still helps because that'll help us on the way back. So yes, I think it's a good idea just on the way back.
Jonah,
Yeah, if you attach a rope to the roof, and then use that to swing out, technically you could swing out as far as the obelisk without hitting the ground. You know what I mean?
Okay.
From the window that's directly across from the obelisk, to get a rope that far out to get to the obelisk, when it swung downwards, you'd hit the ground. But from the roof, technically, there'd be enough slack, if you know what I mean. Because the end of assuming a 50-foot rope, it's an 80-foot tower. The obelisk is 40 feet down, so you'd have 10 feet to the top of the ring at least. You could technically, but you'd need a pretty powerful force moving you to swing out that far, though. That's the only problem with that theory. I guess a running start from and swinging around.
Yeah.
You could
On
do
the
that.
side.
Die Hard style.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw me.
Or you could make yourself small and throw. Now, making yourself small, I don't know how the physics would work of suddenly getting bigger. I would assume that you would rapidly drop off, kind of like hitting wind resistance when you're thrown. Like if you're throwing it, say you were throwing a ball,
Gotcha.
and then halfway the wind kicked up, it would kind of slow you down immediately. But I'm not a physicist, I'm a DM, so sure, go for it.
I know.
This is so complicated.
Yeah.
It's
I think we
really
just do
not,
it.
but that's okay. Carry on. This is the situation where I thought this had a really easy solution, and you guys are just totally overlooking
told
it. But it's okay.
Corey, I told you you didn't need a map of Mezro.
Apparently. Anyways,
The
so
only other thing I can think is we just take out the zombies and you can just climb up to him if there's no zombies underneath him.
Then let's do that.
That's the only other I
Then
don't
let's do
know.
that.
We
Howard,
can definitely.
Then
Yeah,
let's
But
do that.
hundreds of zombies, my fear is that they're just
Yeah.
gonna climb on top of each other
Yeah,
and overwhelm
Well,
us.
but they're not because they can't do that up the obelisk.
But can't they do that up the wall to us?
I mean, we're not in
Oh,
World War Z here, guys. These
they're
are
not doing it.
slow ass moving trudging mud zombies.
I
they're not
see.
ants.
If they were gonna do
They've
that, they
spent-
would have
they've
already
spent
done.
days here, just
Yeah.
wandering about at the bottom. They're not suddenly going to do that at the wall.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I see.
So, I like the idea of just getting them away from the obelisk. I will
And then
go.
getting
I will
Jonah
go.
to him.
Not even that. We just have to.
We have to
clear-
pick the lock. And
we-
Joe.
Hold on.
All right.
We will
Pick
just
the lock.
clear out the space underneath. I will go down there. I will grow big. I will just reach up and just rip that cage down off of the thing.
You're not very strong right now.
I will be when I'm big.
Okay.
As long as. Will your magic runes work?
Yeah, your big might not work. You might not be able to get big.
Fair enough. That's a valid point.
That's true. But you're tall, you could probably lift Jonah up onto the cage.
That's
Yeah, and at the very least, you could throw me 3 feet, right? Or
Yes.
yes. I
That's
think
fair.
that's a much better idea than.
And then we deal with the zombies. I think that's good. Let's do that. Nice and simple. Deal with zombies, then deal with cage.
Oh, what? We're gonna shoot them for an hour or
Pretty
fireball?
much. I don't have fireball.
And all it
That's-
does.
probably gonna
Zendawa,
draw
yeah.
more attention.
Zendala's like literally against the wall with her eyes closed, just kind of like.
I mean,
I pick her pockets.
honestly, I don't know. Like, is there anything that's like I look out there? There's nothing out there. So,
I
like,
think, yeah, a combination of, some people up on the wall throwing spells at them, Aelin, if he's willing to, and maybe with the help of, Azaka and
Oh no, I can't.
Masika down in the water. They're very fast. They could kind of dance circles around the zombie horde and just draw them away. We just need the space underneath the cage empty for a few minutes.
Let's do that.
Hey,
Great.
if we come back out,
probably faster than shooting.
like if we're coming out the way we came in, can we get a bead on the zombies from the wall? Like, can I?
Oh, it's probably gonna be worn off too.
What?
Sorry, from where?
Like here. On the wall.
Yeah, like if we're on the wall.
I mean, yeah, there's zombies milling about all around in these here. So if you're on the wall, you can't see any of the ones that are below the obelisk. No. If you're out here on the wall, because the tower's in the way.
Yeah, but
if you climbed down and moved out, you'd be able to see them.
So, like, if I'm up here on the wall, right? I can't get it to. Why does it keep jumping 5 to 10? Why can't?
Because it's going into the hexes.
It's hexes.
Yeah, hexes.
Just draw it with the drawing tool.
I don't know how.
Right click, drawing. Enter drawing mode.
I mean, you can just ask me.
If I'm like here, looking down like that. Oh my god. So like, because you said the zombies were sort of all in that area, right? With 120 feet on my firebolt, would I be able to hit some of them to like try and draw attention?
Sure. Yeah.
I was up on the wall there.
Yeah, the ones further out, the ones near the obelisk, you can't see from back there. But yes, the ones that are kind of milling out further out, you could target. Yep.
Yeah, because otherwise I can't get a beat on any of the other ones.
Masika and Azaka are beginning their descent down the wall to make a distraction, as you guys just told them to. So, Aelin, are you going with them?
Yep.
They made their athletics checks, no problem. So.
Oh boy.
Give him some guidance.
How
Hold
tall's
on
the wall?
tight.
The wall is 40 feet to the water.
I'm gonna jump.
Sure. Give me an.
No guided.
Wait, are you diving? No, don't dive. You know it's not that deep of water. Break your neck. Yeah. Should have looked before you leaped. Yeah, you can make. Give me an athletics check, anyways. See if you belly flop and hurt yourself at all, even though you're hitting water. It's still 40 feet.
Yeah, but I also have slow fall.
Oh, well, you're okay then. Good thing too.
I negate 25 points of damage, so whatever the damage would have been.
You're fine. You're not falling that far, and you're only hitting water. I could roll maximum and not do 25. So you, although not graceful at all, you sail past Azaka and Masika and hit the water with a splash.
I win.
So I guess I'm just waiting up on the wall to shoot zombies, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would ask Zendala if.
Zendala's like, huh? What?
So, could you hang out on the wall with Archie and throw some magic down at these zombies? We're trying to lure them away from the cage.
She's like, why don't we just yell? But yeah, sure, okay. And she goes out in the wall next to Archie.
I mean, you can yell too if you'd like.
Yeah.
I just figured
See if that hurts any of them. It'll be awesome if it does.
She's like, well, do we need to kill all these zombies? If we just need to pull them away, why don't we just yell and bring them way over here, and then you guys can... Anyway,
Sure.
Why not
it's your
both?
plan.
Why not?
Let's do both.
Azaka's like grumbles to you, Aelin, as she gets to the bottom of the wall. She's just like, I'm getting sick of this little girl. Anyway, she kind of goes out.
Yeah. You're not the only one.
See, because like she's young and brash. Don't worry so much about it. Yeah, they move so there's a good buffer distance between them and the zombies, just in case one of them breaks out into a sprint or some shit. You
Yeah.
start like yelling, waving, and like throwing like little rocks and shit towards them. Which once a few of the zombies start to realize, yeah, they kind of like start shuffling. And eventually there's a slow-moving zombie horde just kind of like moving eastward.
Then I'm gonna say Jonah and I will go out the northern direction of the tower.
Okay.
And then, like looking down here, like from here, there's not another horde of zombies like in this section, right?
No, there's some straggler zombies, but as the horde is like moaning and shuffling out the gates, essentially, they're kind of slowly moving that direction as well.
Okay, well,
But they're like in mud, difficult terrain zombies, so they are not moving fast.
okay, well, once it seems like it's thin enough that we could go down there and we're not like surrounded by, a dozen or so creatures, I would.
Is just out of curiosity, is Blackwind going with the people going since he's got a stealth field around him?
Well, I wasn't sure if it was going to be still up. We were spending quite a bit of time
I mean,
moving around in that tower.
that's actually a good point. You probably only had. Yeah, you're right. Either way, once you get in the radius, it's not going to work anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyways.
Well, he could be outside of the radius, and his radius would extend
No.
into it. How would that work?
It's not how it works. It would stop
It
immediately.
stops.
But
It would. The effect of the spell would end at the edge of the anti-magic, regardless of the length of the radius.
So,
yeah, no, I suppose that's right.
Anyways, yeah, just checking, Blackwind. Are you going? What you're doing essentially as people start moving off the wall and.
I'll stick with the rescue operation because I don't think we need more people running.
Okay.
We need more people to help with the cage.
no,
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart.
I would say maybe you could stay up on the wall, on either be a lookout, and both be a lookout and hold the other end of the rope so we can get back up.
As long as it's just more helpful on this side. I'm not as fast as those other people either.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you're pulling. I mean, I'm not going to worry about rolling damage against the zombies as you firebolt at them because there's lots of them and they've got zombie fortitude and shit, and they're also soaking wet, which doesn't help things with fire. But anyways, you pulling them that way, big horde kind of trudging very, very slowly this way.
I'm just basically it's a light show to try and get the stragglers to continue with them. Basically.
Yeah. It's enough to pull the vast majority of the horde away, leaving the obelisk clear. So you guys are climbing down a rope. So Jonah and Baz, if you want to give me athletics checks, it's a rope. So I'm sure you can do this. I have faith in you guys.
Can I guide myself?
Yeah, no reason you can't. Easy
Okay.
peasy, Baz.
Probably need it.
Jeez.
4!
Well, I went down. I went down first, so I'm there to
Catch him.
Jonah, you with a 4, it must be the cramped conditions of all this heat and bugs in your eyes, but you kind of like get like a few feet down and your fingers slip off the rope as the slime of the wall soaks into it, and you fall. Baz, give me a reflex save to catch him.
You need a dexterity save?
That's the same thing, yeah.
It's just
Was
in
that
Dungeons &
fourth
Dragons,
edition?
no such thing as reflex.
It's
Third
the same
edition.
thing. Yeah, you're able to catch him, but not very well. Both of you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as he slams into
Dang.
you.
I told you he's dense.
You okay, buddy?
Oh man,
All right.
I gotta. Your cooking's just too good, Pat.
Yeah, you can moving through the water to the edge of the obelisk. I don't know if you have any magical shit on you, but as soon as you get within 20 feet, it all turns off. So if you have any benefits of any magic as you walk in there, it's gone. I think
Nope.
Baz, you would immediately notice kind of like a dulling of your senses from your stone rune, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because the light's kind of fading now. So your vision's still. So it's like it's like it just kind of like gets damp and like it's darker than it should be.
Oh no, my alchemy jug.
Alchemy jug, just mayonnaise everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. That's not how the alchemy jug works. It doesn't just store it.
Weirdly, when you get a lot
Should
of
be.
magic build, it just goes berserk.
Just
Turns into a mayonnaise
geyser of mayo. Yeah. So now you're Donaquin, you can see there's a couple zombies still milling around, but they're like 50, 60 feet off. They haven't really seemed to have noticed you of them. So they're underneath you now. You can see them. They've made it to the edge.
I lift my gnome friend up. Say, all right, do your
Jonah, you're how tall are you?
Definitely like 8 feet. I am.
Yeah, you can like reach the edge of the
3 feet 2.
You
I
can
don't
like
think that's right either.
you can barely reach the edge of the bottom of the cage, but you can make it.
I can kind of do like a light toss, sort of like
Like setting a volleyball, just
yeah.
Mr.
A
Mr.
little
Ford, a
push.
little help? Could you?
I can put my hands out and stuff like that to try and help him up as well.
sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you
there's
very
enough
much.
space in the bars. You could reach out and grab his arm. Sure.
Oh.
Jonah, give me an athletics check with advantage.
Oh,
You got help here.
good
Nice.
job.
You pull up. You're kind of like got your arms. You got your feet kind of on the outside of the cage. Your arm inside the cage. Turtle's holding you there. You're hanging from the cage as well.
I will
Baz
try
below
to
you.
pick the lock while I make small talk and ask his name. My name's Jonah.
My name is Donaquin.
Nice to meet you, Donaquin.
Nice to meet you, Jonah. Thank you so much.
Oh, well. I figure at the very least, be good cooking.
Or maybe that's what he's thinking.
At the very least, I've heard that turtle is delicious.
He hasn't eaten in a
False.
while.
False. We taste terrible.
Like
Um,
ooze.
Yeah, the lock is not overly complicated. You're able to, even as you're talking and kind of clutching on this cage, you kind of like fiddle with it and pops open pretty quickly.
Well, once I know the door is open, I'm going to tell Baz to catch me, and I'm going to jump, the 2 or 3 feet down.
Sure. Baz catches you, no problem. Leaving Donaquin with an open door, free at last, free at last.
Lightning bolts everywhere.
It's only like 10, 15 feet down to the water, so you could.
I'll grab onto the edge of the cage on stuff and kind of hang down on stuff, and then go
Sure.
through and stop.
It swings precariously as you hang from the cage, but
Afraid of heights.
Baz will help him down.
the three of you, Baz, he is with that big ass shell. He is much heavier than you thought he was going to be, helping him down.
I'm very strong.
Yeah, you're also exhausted though, so it's like, oh god.
So as I
It's more that you're not like holding him up. It's more just like your body is
It's
actively
breaking his descent.
yeah.
All right, Donaquin, you are free. You're in the muck, and there's a rope to bring you back up to the wall if you'd like to head back that way.
Yep, we'll head over to the wall. I'll say happy to assist. My name is Baz.
Thank you so much. My name is Donaquin.
Sean, as soon as you're 20 feet from the tower, you can feel all of your abilities suddenly like they're there. You can feel them. The wild nature of Chult infuses your.
Kind of stop for a second, just close my eyes and just breathe in, like a sigh of relief.
Somebody fart?
I just imagine you like as the locks it on you.
Hello. Yeah, climb up, climb back. I'll stay at the bottom. I'll wait for the two of them to get up the wall.
Sure. Give me a couple more athletics checks, and just for the hell of it, over on the other side, I'm assuming you guys are going to climb back up the wall now that they're free. You would have been able to see what they were doing while you're moving away. For the most part.
Yeah.
I'm gonna poke around in that upper area.
That'll be with
lockers.
that'll be with advantage because Blackwind's at the top. He's helping out.
Yeah, that's true.
Helping, but yeah. Once everybody's up there, I want to poke around in that upper area in the foot lockers and whatnot.
All right.
If you two don't mind helping me up,
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. You're not over here.
I'm M2. I'm on that wall.
We're all the way on the other side of the wall.
Get on your own side of the wall.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Make those that athletics check.
Yeah.
Nice.
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 That was helpful.
Team
As
climb.
as I'm climbing up with Masika and Azaka, I'd be like, so if you told somebody that you wanted to lay low, and then that person who is like in a group that is at this point pretty like the opposite of that, would you be mad if they went and did something that was not laying low without you?
Sorry,
Just
who are you asking?
hypothetically. Masika and Azaka.
Okay.
He's trying to get some girl advice.
Azaka kind of just like squints her eyes a little bit. Maybe she's like, "What?" And Masika's,
I mean, would you be offended?
Masika kind of thinks for a moment. She's like, "Well, I suppose what the intent was behind the action that wasn't laying low. Like if it was benevolent in intent, then I would think that that'd be fine."
That's what I thought.
It's like, so I guess it would be, what was your intent?
Yeah, weird.
Zaka's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm aware type.
All right, good talk.
I'm a weird tiger. I don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm
guys-
so confused.
You guys have gathered. So the zombie horde. Once you guys like are over the wall, like there's like charred zombie corpses now floating around and stuff. Once you're over the wall and like back out of their line of sight, they rapidly lose interest and just kind of start like dispersing in various directions.
Cool.
That's good.
Then I'm gonna go back in and climb back up top to search around with Blackwind because that's where he said he was going,
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, Blackwind is already there. Spider climbing. He just literally walked up the tower back in. So give me an investigation check, Blackwind.
This is so cool. Spider-Man, spider-work, does whatever a spider-work does. Ah.
Which is not looking for finding clues. Yeah, you're kind of like kicking around and it's just kind of like dirty, moldy, rotten clothes, broken footlocker, piece of garbage. There's nothing interesting up here at all, as far as you can tell.
I'm probably betting on that wasn't going to be anything anyways, but at least
Yeah.
I'm right this way no matter what.
Zandala walks up to you, Donaquin. So, just an FYI, so just in case you, Sean, don't know, Zandala is kind of like a half-elven, young. She looks like she's maybe in her early 20s. She has kind of like almost like freckles, but on closer inspection, you can see that they are in fact tiny, like kind of like bronzy, coppery scales on her face. She's got blonde hair and kind of like wizardly type robes. And she kind of like walks up to you, kind of, and kind of like looks at you. She's like, "So we rescued you. That means you owe us, yeah?"
I say thank you so very much. I actually go towards as if I'm going to give her a hug. I'm like, I owe you my life. I owe you.
She's like, she just kind of like steps up. She's like,
Oh,
no
too
offense,
soon. Okay.
You
okay.
you
Too
smell.
soon. Okay.
You smell.
Okay.
Like badly.
Too soon.
Zendala, be nice. He's been trapped for days.
Can't you do your thing?
Is this what they
Okay.
normally smell like?
The magic thing that makes it so you're not dirty?
He's like, no, I can't.
Yes, you can. I know how to do that too.
She just kind of like wiggles her fingers, and like the grime of the last couple nights of kind of just like lifts from you, Blackwind. Or not
Or
Blackwind, Donquin.
I'm like, hey, I always smell like this, so
Hey,
why is it a
I was
problem?
Yeah.
saving that grime.
That's the problem.
I was
Meaning to
saving
talk
that
about
grime for later.
it.
Thank you, Zendala.
That grime is really good for hiding.
Yeah, it
I
keeps the
do
bugs
answer
off.
her, and I say, yes, I do owe you a debt. So I owe every one of you a debt for saving my life and freeing me.
Oh,
Every one of you, so to do the right thing at the right season is a great art, and not every adventurer would do such a thing for somebody they don't know.
I'll take that hug.
I definitely go for a hug. Like, anybody, I basically go from like each person thanking them, saying thank you so much, thank you. For
You can get
taking the time.
salmonella from turtles, you know.
Whatever.
Sean, you would recognize as you're going around. You would recognize. So Masika, she is a Chultan woman, about 5'4" or so, and you notice that she has kind of like these polished like bracers, and you would immediately recognize the symbol of Ubtao carved into them.
Ooh,
And she kind of gives you a nod. She doesn't accept the hug, but she does kind of like give you a nod. And do you have any like open? I guess you don't really have any gear, do you?
I don't have any open symbols and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff of any of the gods. No. I go, fellow, what you got? You believe in the gods of Ubtao?
She nods. She's like, yes, I am a champion of Ubtao.
pretty awesome.
Extremely awesome. Do you want some water or food?
Yes, please. Water.
I give him.
Imagining Zoidberg.
I will give Donovan one of my waters.
Thank you very much.
And some and a rash.
I'm like all my gear stuff was taken stuff by the guards stuff when they took me. I do not know where it is.
Where did do you remember where you were when they grabbed you?
Corey, you would know. It's probably towards. You would know exactly where I would have been.
Yeah. So you were nabbed. Kind of. Actually, you would have came in, and were nabbed. Sorry, let me just think. You would have been coming in from this side. So you would have been coming in like through these gates over here, and you would have been nabbed by a patrol just as you got to the end of this long boulevard. But before you could actually step foot on this central platform, there was like a group of guards essentially right here, and they kind of stopped you immediately. And after a very brief exchange where it became obvious that you did not have a charter, they became relatively hostile and basically beat you up, and that's the last thing you remember.
Yeah, it was me and my younger brother stuff, and I do not know stuff what has happened with my younger brother. If he was taken or escaped, I do not know.
I would say though, just FYI, the group that beat you up, there was probably like 20 or 30 of them, at least. Like there was a sizable presence around that temple on that central
It's like
island.
40 or 50 of them. So we always had them.
That's not ideal.
Yeah, that's not great.
Well, I mean, we were probably going to look for a place to rest for the evening. What do we think about resting here for the night?
Or do we want to make ourselves known to the Flaming Fist?
Well, we all know my feelings of that.
We're gonna come across them at
We're
some
gonna come
point.
across them one way or the other.
I know.
Do we want to do it on our terms or not?
I'm just not sure their intentions. They seem like thugs more than they. Like
Yeah,
they
no,
bear
they
the flame.
suck. They're awful, but we're gonna run into them no matter what. So the question is, do we plan to run into them, or do they stumble across us potentially?
Do we need to speak with them? I guess we got to get to a point where they're currently occupying is the big thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're currently occupying the temple in the center of the city, and that's where we go.
Yeah, and
So-
you saw, and you know their camp is way over here on the other side of the.
Yeah.
So we'll just need to put a little blanket over our turtle friend.
Yeah, I will say stuff that I don't know what your party's intention stuff here are stuff, but I would love to travel with you stuff. And I believe it could be of a great asset.
Safety in numbers as well, and we do have a charter. I look at Zendala, like, yes.
Right?
She's like, yes, I have a charter.
Does that mean everybody's covered, or
Do we need more than one charter?
No,
Apparently not.
She,
it's the charter for the group is.
Azaka should have one as well.
Azaka kind of like looks over. She's like, should I?
No, we were under the impression that all the guides did.
Oh, no.
I think it's up to the. I thought it was up to the people hiring.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Azaka nods. She's like, we are sanctioned through the agreement with Joe Ball that we don't require charters ourselves. The groups we're with have to provide their own.
Understood. There's a lot of miscommunication about these charters.
She's like, which is why I mentioned stopping at the fort on the way out of Port Nyanzaro to get one. But
I
as
mean,
you say,
it seems
she
like
points
it's,
to Zendala. She's like, but
Oh.
as you say, if she has one, then we should be covered. My understanding is that that it's for the entire expedition. I don't know if they put arbitrary limits. I'm sure they do, but I've never had a problem with a group this small with a charter. Zendala's like, yeah. So all you got to do is chip in 5 gold, and you can certainly join our expedition.
That's not the case. So we're not
She's
going
like,
to.
what? She's like, why not? There's 10 of us. It costs 50 gold. If he wants to join, why shouldn't he pay his fair share?
I give here you go.
She's like, thank you. She kind of gives Baz a look and puts it in her pouch.
Well, they didn't take you of all your gold.
I was able to put
Keeps
aside
it
a
in
few
your
things
pocket.
in my to put it away in my shed and a little bit of stuff I have, but not very much. So I got this big pouch
It's
of
a little slimy.
Well,
I bet you're glad you cleaned it now.
I'm very, very grateful for being clean.
The sun is basically setting now. Just the last vestiges of light peeking out over the horizon, so it's just a brilliant orange kind of color. But it's definitely rapidly descending into twilight. As the sun sinks, everybody will hear this. You hear what sounds like kind of like almost like dog-like, but they've got a strange cadence to them, kind of like howls, kind of like starting to like emit. They seem to be coming from this massive cluster of intertwined streets and buildings. As the sun goes down, you suddenly start hearing like these like they almost sound wolf-like or like high-pitched, kind of like yipping kind of like howls. They could be humanoid voices, you're not sure.
What the hell is that?
I would say, Sean, you spent at least one night. Yeah, at this point, only one night conscious in this cage.
Yeah.
But during that one night, the same thing happened last time when the sun went down. You didn't see anything, but you heard that as the sun started coming down. And you probably would have heard throughout the night, occasionally like screams, snarls, and stuff from the other side of the wall in that section.
Okay, I will let the party know stuff about that experience.
Wow, that's disturbing.
Masika kind of like nods. She's like, perhaps we don't travel in that quadrant of the city at night.
Indeed.
I think that's smart.
Seems like the logical thing to do.
All right, so here's the question: do we rest here, or do we head towards the Flaming Fist now?
Masika's like, well, do we want to approach them at night? They'll be probably on higher alert, right?
I think that's probably the case. I think that maybe we.
Tower was kind of tucked away.
Yeah, I feel like this place seems a bit out of the way. The doors were completely sealed shut. This is not a tower that anybody has been inside of in a very long time.
No.
Azaka like picks up one of the moldering skeletons and just kind of like drags it over to the door, out the door, and like tosses it off over the side. She's like, and she kind of like looks at you. She's like, I don't know about you, and I'm not sleeping with any dead bodies.
No, I'm with you, and I will help with the other ones.
I'll get Gerald to lift up the one door and like place it sort of back, just so it's like
Good call.
not covering it, but yeah, just
kind of
like,
like
yeah.
leaning kind of in the frame, kind of.
Well, all right.
At what point does it change from a body to a skeleton?
Once the flesh is gone.
Technically a body.
Is that a biology question or more of a philosophical, like what is the body?
Yeah, I don't know.
I took
At
it in.
what point are they
Is
a
it-
skeleton?
Is
or
it a
zombie?
dead body or a skeleton? Yeah.
I mean,
Sika
It's
shrugs.
still-
She's like, I would appreciate you not disrespecting the fallen dead of the city. And she, like looking directly at Azaka, who just tossed a body over. And Azaka's like, oh shit, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, that's valid point. Valid point.
Can I see where the skeleton landed?
I mean, you can in the dim. You have dark vision. There's like just a couple like bubbles on the surface where it splashed and sunk. There's also like zombies milling about all down along that wall now. Because you drew them all over that direction, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't know any guard captains at these towers, so it's not like it's my brother, but still.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. They deserve a proper burial at least.
Or just treat it with respect, as well. Not talk like yesterday's refuse.
I guess we don't know. Why would there be why would someone have just died in the tower on their own? Would it have been from an attack or
Masika
is
kind
one
of
of
like,
the bodies still there, or are they
Uh,
both gone?
yeah, well, Baz was in the process of dragging the other one out.
Yeah,
when
I
Masika
was
said that.
following Azaka's lead, and then I was like, oh yeah, good point.
Well, I was just gonna
Yeah,
say I could look it over and see if I can tell how it perished.
Yeah,
I'll set it down.
yeah, you can make a medicine check to see if you can figure out how it died. It's pretty old and obviously decomposed, so it may not be possible to determine, but
Probably not. I'm not great at medicine. I don't know.
it could have died by meteor strike for all you know. Yeah, Masika says that. I mean, she has no way of knowing. Although when she disappeared, there was that massive like flash of light that we were actively engaged in a battle, but
Yeah.
I mean, the city wasn't flooded. This entire valley was fertile farmland then. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what happened here.
Well, hopefully we can get some clues as we make our way through.
Zandala kind of pipes up. She's like, "Yeah, so we should talk about that. What's our plan here in the city? Like, you want to talk to these flaming fist folks? That's one thing. We've got a charter. Hopefully, that's enough to get us unmolested through the city. But where we have any? Do we start at that big glass building in the middle?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically the center point, as from what I know. It's the center point of not just the city, but everything. The worship, the statues should be there. I think we start there for knowledge, map it, get that out of the way, and then branch out from there.
Yeah.
Looked like there might be an interesting building at the backside that may have been, I don't know if it's
Northeast,
was a
some kind of
library.
library. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Masika kind of looks at you with a little bit of amusement. She's like, "You refer to the Mages College?"
Yes, that one.
She's like, "There was a great library. They were well known in Chalt as being the greatest repository of knowledge on the continent, rivaling those of foreign nations, from what I've heard."
I don't expect there to be much there, but I'm pretty good at finding things. So even if others have overlooked something, we still might find information is useful to our goals.
She kind of nods and she says, "If it's all, I know it's a lot to ask, and I understand, but I would like to see if I could locate, if it's even still standing, my home."
Of course.
Sure,
Where
I'll help you.
I sketched out a basic of the city from the cliff. Can I just ask her where?
Yeah, she says she had a fairly unassuming kind of small home, right around here, this kind of neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, it's possible that being that close, that the Flaming Fist have taken up most of their activities in that section, but if there's anything left, any clues there, any some sign of my family or what happened, I'd like to at least see what remains. She's like, other than that, I mean, things have changed substantially from what I saw. I don't know how. She would kind of explain that this right-hand section was basically like an agricultural district. A lot of like wineries and like greenhouses and that kind of thing. Now it's just looks like wild jungle, but this was primarily residential. Almost everybody that wasn't like nobility lived there. This was mainly like governmental running of the city, temples, mage college, universities, libraries, that kind of thing. A scholar's quarter they called it, and this was the market quarter. So this is where primarily all the like commerce and the main bazaars and all that kind of took place. So
okay.
So if you have, I mean, she can tell you whatever she knows about the city. If you have any specific questions about looking for anything specific, she can. Granted, she doesn't know anything within the last 130 years. I think it would have been.
Yeah.
But if there's a specific thing you're looking for in the city, she may know where it used to lie.
Well, like I would say, the temple, I need to map it. Those statues she was talking about of the Batiri, I'd like
Beret.
The beret. Batiri. Of the beret. Those are in the temple, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a great antechamber that surrounds the throne of Ubtao. That they would all be there.
Hopefully, the Flaming Fist will allow us access to the temple. I'm hoping being from Candlekeep might, seeing as it's a mission from Candlekeep, they might be a little more forgiving if they know anything about it, since Candlekeep is about knowledge, not necessarily like hoarding the stuff for themselves kind of thing. But who knows? Yeah, other than that, we don't have any like specific. We're looking to see if we can find, if there was any information about artists and them coming through here. But we don't have a specific place to start with
My
that.
bet would be the same place you would start.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Start
Temple and library.
hope it kind of leads us out. On that note, Donovan, did you have a specific reason for coming to the city?
Did you mention just say artist? Artist Kimber?
Are you hunting him too?
No. I knew him way back when. I was actually went on an expedition with him like years ago.
You knew him.
Well, I wouldn't say I knew him, but I went on an expedition with him.
Was to love him.
Maybe that I would certainly classify that as knowing
Knowing
someone.
him. Was it just him, or was it him and a group of comrades?
It was also myself and several others. This was many, many, many moons ago.
Something like 20 some odd years?
Oh, way more than that.
Oh, more than that.
Jesus Christ, how old is everybody?
At the time,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Sean, you would know it would probably be like 70 years ago.
4 years. Yeah. Been around for a long time. But the reason that I would here, like when we're sitting here, also, I would try to find out why they're here at Mezro, also, and I will say that the reason that I here, my master back home also sent me and my brother this way also to the city to try and find answers for all like the corruption and like the death curse and all that has been starting to plague our homeland recently. So that is why we came to this.
Where you hail from?
Well, the city is Ahoy, and that is on the snout of Angar. Quite a ways away. Seems so far away.
Did you say snout of Ongar?
Yeah, no, at my homeland. So far away.
Have I heard of? No.
Nope. Well, have you? Is it marked on your map? It might have been on the map that. Yeah, it might have been on the map that you got. Yeah, it is. It's marked on your map. It would have been noted on Tuttletome's sea charts of the coast.
Okay.
Very far south, on all the way up, complete other side and stuff of the island.
Okay, so you're from Chult.
Oh yes, this is my homeland. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The snout is like that. I've not come to Chult much.
Yeah, no,
But just on the coast, so I would not come. If not gone to like the center of Montreal, we stayed on the coast when we did leave our homeland, which wasn't.
I see.
But that is what brought me here.
Isn't Artis human?
As far as you know, Sean, he was a human. Yeah.
Yep.
Then
And he
don't. I doubt that we're talking about the same person then.
Well, as far as I know, he's a practitioner of magic, right? There are multiple spells that can allow a
Sean,
high level.
You from your any time you had with Artis, he never cast a single spell that you're aware of.
Oh.
I mean, was he a baby when he was with you?
He was.
What exactly was he looking for here? Why did he come here so many years ago?
Who?
What was your guys' objective?
This is not where we did not come here. This expedition with him was not here. This was on the mainland stuff. Not Charlton, so not stuff. The Sword Coast.
You're on Sword Coast.
Yes, this is way back when.
I thought you were here with him.
No. I have not seen him or know of his whereabouts at all. I've not heard. It's too bad. He seems like a nice man.
So he's not mad.
Well,
Well,
we
we know.
world is Artis Kimber.
We know if he's not magical. We know others who have skipped in time. As I just sort of give a side eye to Masika, trying not to be obvious.
Okay, she immediately shoots you back a look like, "Shut up, Archie."
So what information do you have about the death curse? We have very little, but we are looking into it as well.
We also know very little. That is why we were sent out. Also, had to split up also from our brothers. We come here also while the others defend our homeland against this undead and the war that we are a part of. But we came here to find out more because it's starting to get everywhere and more often also since the Sky event. So that's been since then. Yes.
I share my dreams that I've been having, more or less of nightmares of running through the jungle before I even came here, and all that. I think you. I'm not sure if you know much. So basically, I'd be running through the jungle, but I don't actually see me. It's dense jungle, and I come into a clearing. There's I believe it's one of the pyramids or monoliths. I can't remember, but
Ziggurat.
a ziggurat. That's it. Yeah, that's the appropriate term. And then I'd see a figure most times, and then that's when I'd wake up. And then a few times I actually got a bit farther, and including the creature that has the coins in the eyes. I'd show the sketch, although I must find the picture that Corey shared. But this is led my family to believe that this is where it's all going down and causing the chaos.
So just to be clear, Ryan, your dreams are not of Mezro; they're of Omu, different city.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean that.
I just want to make sure you're not looking for this black obelisk in Mezro because it's not here.
No, but it's so like it feels. It's so easy to slide it in and out, like off my head. It just. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's what I mean. I explained to him about the death curse. So we're here currently for a separate reason at this location. But.
Yeah, but there may be information, and we're also on the other side of the peninsula or the river, I guess, looking to find an old city called Orlunga. There might be more information there too.
Sean, make a history check. I just want to see if you might know anything about Orlunga.
Wow.
Never heard of it.
If you knew about it, you didn't know about it by that name for sure.
Outside of my coast, screw that.
Yeah, so I know very little stuff of the inners of Chalta, so like that. We've mainly stayed on the coast when we have left our homeland, and that so it is very mysterious stuff still to our people.
Very mysterious.
To all of us.
Well, this is a lot.
Yeah, so we're staying here for the night then?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. We stay here for the night. And if the Flaming Fist happen to come upon us, we can tell them we didn't want to pop up, at night out of nowhere to come upon them. So we thought it was.
We were hiding from the zombies.
Yeah.
And I mean, do we know that like Flaming Fist is, or that Mezro is 100% Flaming Fist territory? You know, like
no.
We do.
It's primarily controlled, I think.
But I mean, I guess what I mean is, you know, like, just because, you know, we've stepped foot onto this thing, it's not like we're violating rules because we haven't immediately gone to them first. If they come by, if they happen to see us, then we can say, here's our charter.
Right.
But I to me, it doesn't seem it doesn't seem reasonable to assume or to think that we must go through them first.
Don't know.
Yeah,
if
it's not
territory or if they just are in the area. We don't really.
It's not reasonable for them to lay claim on the entire eastern side of the peninsula. But
I charge people for not beating them up and then hanging them above zombies.
Yeah. Azaka would just kind of nod and she says, yeah, they don't seem to, whether they have right to do it or not, I don't think reasonable is what we can expect from them.
I guess I'm thinking about it in terms of like when we were out in the jungle, they came across us. You know, if we had a charter at the time, we would have just shown it to them, and assumedly they would have been like, "Okay, go about your business." feel like it should be the same way here.
Azaka would confirm that in expeditions that she's taken out with other groups that have had a charter, that's exactly what the case had. If they ever ran across the Flaming Fist, they would just show the charter and they were left to their own devices.
That
Right.
was also much
But they
farther
didn't
outside of their normal range.
they didn't go with the charter to the Flaming Fist and say, okay, we're going out on an expedition. Like as long as they had the charter, when they ran into Flaming Fist, they showed it to them and they were left alone.
Right, and I guess my concern is that it may be different at a place like this where there is stuff of interest to multiple things. They may, quote unquote, occupy it. I don't know. They might not. It might be fine. We might show it. They might say, do whatever you want. I don't know.
I guess
all.
I personally, I feel like we've got the charter. We're allowed to be here. We should just be here, and if we run into them, fine. But I think certainly 100% for the purposes of this evening, staying here should be fully.
Right. Nobody's arguing that.
I'm just putting it out.
There's some nice flower beds.
While we're milling around, Corey, also, I'll also go back up to Blackpoint also and mention that I hadn't had, because he said that was a dream that he had, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a dream? That's that. Yeah. My master also used to have dreams too. Lots of things, also of like giant crocodiles, talking crocodiles, as well.
I could probably talk to crocodiles, but not of dreams.
No, of an actual giant crocodile that was talking.
Well, actually, we did see a giant statue of a crocodile at kind of part man, wasn't it?
No, it was carrying a man.
Carrying a
The man was carrying it.
But yeah, I haven't had a dream of that, as far as I know.
Corey,
I haven't seen the creature properly.
Was he talking about here? That the crocodile was here? Yeah.
That's one of the reasons he wanted you to go here, is to see if you could. It was slightly unclear whether the talking crocodile was like a literal thing, or whether that was like a metaphor for getting answers from like the spirits. But either way, he thought that sending you to the holy city of Ubtao would be the place to look for that. So.
But yeah, mine more links to Omu. I'm not looking at that page with the pronunciation on right now. But yeah, we had an interesting riddle with a statue of a crocodile carrying a man. It was particularly devious. But I believe Archie and Baz basically, or was it Aelin?
For what?
Oh, that basically kind of went through it most of the way. You guys finished it. I know you were part of it.
It was me by us.
That's right. So, very clever trap. Several of them. And a riddle of the do you still have that riddle of the man and the crocodile?
I mean, it was
a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Anyway, needless to say,
I'm gonna stack up some of these.
It was like 20 years ago for me. So are those dog barking noises still going pretty strong?
Yeah, every once in a while they kind of echo across the city.
Not like just going nuts, but kind of.
Yeah, when the sun was first going down, it sounded like a lot of them, like one after the other, here and there, and then since then it's just been occasional, like echoing kind of cries that kind of ring out.
Akin it to like coyotes in the evening, maybe a little bit, like just the way they get loud and then whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not the same noise, but
yeah, not quite. They don't sound. They're kind of like similar to the like a high pitched kind of like almost, yeah, coyote is probably the closest animal, but it doesn't. You're not sure that it actually is an animal. That's the thing. Like it doesn't sound like sounds strange to you.
Well, it's a long distance. I'm probably listening over. So.
While we're sorry,
No, I was done.
while we're setting up for the night, can I just give this room a search just to see if there's anything of interest? It's probably all moldy. and
There's nothing.
Yeah, I searched. I did a horrible job, but I found the same thing.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can in here that seems to be of value whatsoever,
There's mold,
or of interest. It's just kind of
flower beds.
Sure.
But yeah, like I assume this whole time you guys are talking that people are like clearing some space, so you're not like broken furniture and moving things to the side, because if you're planning on staying the night here, you're kind of like setting up.
Yeah. Okay.
The sun has completely gone down now. It's dark outside. There is a very kind of light drizzle of rain starting. But it doesn't. It leaks a little bit here and there, like little drops coming down from above, but not enough to like make this like uncomfortably damp or anything.
I'll cast light on Gerald.
Okay.
Gerald.
Azaka kind of looks at
life.
you, and she kind of like says, she's like, "Do we really want to have a beacon here in the night?"
No.
It's standing out with this tower.
I unlight Gerald.
She's like, "If we cover the windows, perhaps with something,
Gerald.
tarp or."
Oh, that's fine. I can see.
I don't have any tarps. My blankie.
Do we think a fire is okay?
Inside it.
Well, as long as we cover the reflective
Well,
light.
but I wouldn't want to cover the windows, otherwise we'll just suffocate.
No, there's a hole in the roof.
There's a hole in the roof.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
So the smoke would filter out that way.
Yeah. But it would definitely beacon out like a spotlight almost, or to anybody that was looking.
I mean, it seemed like there was buildings in the agricultural area that they didn't
Lighting
care that they
fire.
were lighting up.
Yeah.
These towers might be different though. They're pretty derelict, and having one lit up might
Yeah,
just
and-
be curious.
Speaking of, since you guys can very easily just look out the door, you can see that over on the far side here, there's some sort of like pillar, like statue thing. You're not sure what it is. It's all covered in vines. But beyond there, like right over here, you can see that there is what looks to be a fairly large, like bonfire now that's quite bright. And there's also like on the surrounding buildings, in a short radius, pretty small radius around it, there's like torches lit now.
Get the torches.
Having a party.
Yeah, can we see if there's like bodies milling about?
Make a
Yeah.
perception check. It's quite a ways away, but see if you can see it through the there's a lot of trees and shit too, so. Yeah, you're not sure. You can see the light of the fire, but that far off with all the trees and
Kinda.
everything else in the way.
I'm kind of seeing double. It's so far away.
Use the spyglass next time.
I'm so
Well-
tired.
Go to sleep.
Here, why don't
Yeah.
I through the spyglass?
So Masika kind of like
I
sits down and she's like, "So tomorrow then we head up the main boulevard, go to the temple, and if we need to deal with the Flaming Fist, we do that first, or did you want to
Yeah.
investigate that camp in the agricultural district?" It doesn't seem. I don't see any banners over there. Maybe that's not the Fist. They may not be the only group that's taking residence in the city.
I don't know. I feel like we hit the temple first. That way, worst case, and we have to leave. Like we've done.
Zandala kind
something.
of stretches and yawns, and she's like, "Plus, easier walking on the wall than through that mess, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. What a day.
Yeah, so when we go up to the fist. What do we say about our turtle friend? Just truth. We found him. We let him out because it seemed inhumane.
Yeah.
I'll stay back with them maybe, as I don't really want to talk with them to keep my mouth in a safe distance.
To keep my mouth at a safe distance. I like that.
I mean, you still have to be with the group, though. Otherwise, you have no charter.
You could be part of the charter. It's just I'm not going to go right up and
Sure.
speak with them.
Just towards the back and all that stuff. With
Honestly, maybe they won't even realize. Maybe they'll
People forgot about the turtle that they hung.
You want us to gag you or something?
no,
Do you want us to put you
Not
in
you, Jonathan. I wouldn't be so forward. We've just met. It's okay.
No, I just distinctly, as a wanderer or an outlander, just having to pay to walk through the wilderness is an insult. He refuses to even.
No, right.
When we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
The flaming fists suck.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut. I'm just saying, but be with the group. That's all.
To stand in the 5-foot cube with everybody though. At the same time.
And yes, you can use the spyglass.
And as far as if they ask about Donnequin, say we just
tell the truth.
We tell the truth.
Yeah.
We tell them no. We saw him.
We helped them by killing a bunch of zombies for them.
Yeah. Yeah, there was
also a frost giant.
We did do that.
True.
Jonah.
By saving him, we might have taken their entertainment.
Well, Jonah, since we've saved somebody, does that give us something in the plus column?
Yes. Everybody 10
Not a
points.
negative.
Everybody 10 points.
Oh, sweet.
Zendala kind of like cracks and knuckles. He's like, buffer for more kills.
I'm in the green.
I mean, zombies don't count.
Zaka pokes Donnequin on the shoulder and she's like, wow, you're worth 10 normal people apparently. Good on you, turtle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What is your Donnequin? How do you feel about taking another person's life?
I'm against it for the most part.
Fair enough.
Necessary, and especially in animals and stuff like that are very sacred and all that stuff. I do not like to take their lives if it's not absolutely necessary. And same with regular people and stuff like that. I'd much rather learn about people and study them and befriend with them instead of having to kill them. Unless they're trying to kill
people and animals now. Damn it.
You should. Oh, that's very wise. Aelin, I hope you're taking notes.
Yeah, I got 2 people I need to look away now.
And Azaka kind of turns. She's like, how do you feel about cats?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I like cats.
I like this turtle.
They're tasty. Oh, shit.
Especially tigers.
So much meat on them.
Black, when looking through the spyglass, you can see that there are definitely figures around that bonfire moving around in that. You can't really make out any of their features. It's just kind of silhouettes against the fire that occasionally move around. But they're definitely humanoid figures.
No, like flag banners, or at least if there was, once again, it's probably all
in
shadows.
in the night, in the dark, you can't make out anything like that. No.
It's too much and chaos. That does make sense, but it was a good roll.
Suddenly, there is a reverberating cry, very loud and kind of echoey. It almost sounds like whoever's yelling it is yelling it through like it's kind of like this echoey, like almost like they're muffled, like maybe they're talking through like a thick mask or a helmet. Not like Bane, before anybody goes there.
Damn it, Corey.
How about Shredder?
As soon as I said that, I'm like, somebody is going to make a Bane joke, but no, it rings out. Some of you will understand what it says. Very quickly after that rings out, there is a boom, a flash of red light that kind of comes through the window from that residential district. You're not sure from where. And then suddenly there's kind of like a rumble, and the entire tower and wall, you assume, of surrounding kind of like shakes, almost like a minor earthquake tremor. Like, and then it's silent.
Somebody is very unhappy.
Somebody's very unhappy.
That's not normal.
Just,
That's not the
Sean,
10
that did
o'clock
not
hour.
happen last night when you were here in the cage.
Can I just like poke my head out the northern door, since it's already off the hinge?
Yeah.
Gerald, I just want to like poke my head out and see if I can see anything.
Make a perception check.
Oh, balls.
Ask everybody if they understood what the person said.
Oh,
Did you-
what'd they say?
No, they said, whoever it is, I don't know who it was. And so it is, you dare come against me. Mezro would never fall to vermin such as you.
Yeah,
Oh.
I have not heard
it was a definitely a kind of an imperious sounding like male voice, but it
That
sounded
voice
like it was
I
like
never-
muffled, like he's wearing a helmet or something. It's kind of distorting the voice.
Maybe the Flaming Fists are about to have a bad night.
Or yeah, they're skirmishing.
Masika, you didn't recognize that voice, did you?
Yeah.
Masika, she's like, she kind of turns to the Archie and because she knows you speak Chelton, and Donna-Quinn, since you're the one that just translated it, and she's like, no, I don't, but the accent similar to my own.
So maybe a
Someone
native
else.
of Mezro, perhaps.
It's like perhaps another has survived to this age.
Mm.
Then she kind of like glances suspiciously down at Donna-Quinn for a moment, and she's like, just because it seems obvious, maybe not obvious, but it seems like she's just not 100% whether she wants to spill the beans on anything in front of the person you've just met.
Oh yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have assumed that all Cheltons would recognize know each other by their voices, right?
Office Glenn.
Masika's just like, yeah, I mean, there's quite a few of us. Well, there was.
Yeah, but this voice seems special. It's sort of commanding. Maybe
Like in a
good
can.
here or something. Has a good room presence.
I don't see anything.
And that
Yeah,
came from
it's just
sorry.
like looking out there. There's no lights or anything in that entire section of the city is just dark. You can see the glow of like torches and stuff from the camp, where the Flame Fists are like way beyond. But
Yeah.
it's just that entire section of the city is just dark, so it's very hard to pick out anything. There's no movement. There's nothing that you can see.
I'm just gonna hang out by the door and wait and just keep I'm just gonna look in that direction just to see if it happens again.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hang out by the door and look that
I
direction.
will join you. I'll join you.
Hi, Baz.
I can see pretty far.
Here. I'm gonna climb up on Baz's shoulders.
So FYI, you guys can in this tower. It seems safe enough that I will allow you guys a long rest tonight.
We'll take first watch, Baz.
Wow.
Wow,
can do so
long
much.
rest.
A long rest.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna be so rested.
I thought it was gonna be borderline. I wasn't sure, but I was like,
Oh shit! Gotta prepare spells. for
So
today.
I will allow you a long rest. So throughout is there anything else you guys want to talk about or do, or throughout the night? If stuff happens throughout the night on various people's watches, I'll let you know what else might occur. But are you just kind of keeping watch, seeing what's going on, and waiting until the morning?
Pretty much.
You know, Archie and I will take first watch, like mostly watching over
That direction.
that direction. but also glancing in the direction of
The torch.
the torches and stuff.
Oh, and everybody on watch, since we have the 2 spy glasses, can both use the spy glasses for the watches as well. You can just over.
I will actually ask Aelin if he wants to be using that Ouroboros much, because just in case I need to hit something with a item that's magical, it might come in handy for me to have it as a backup or a close-in weapon. I haven't seen you use it much. You threw it once, I think, that I saw.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not my preferred for close range, but it's nice for long range. I haven't bothered attuning to it yet. I don't know. I don't have any reason to suspect it, but it kind of just gives me the willies. So
It's a kind of a, I guess not bile, but it is poison. But
yeah,
it
but
has useful properties. So
for sure, and I was considering it if I knew that we would be going into any sort of situation where it would be helpful. But yeah, by all means, I think if you feel like you can get better use out of it.
Well, I'm thinking that if I get in close to something or be like normal weapons seem to slide off of it. It might be nice to have the backup. Not my primary weapon, but
toss it over.
The watches, how? Just so I know for tonight, not that anything's gonna happen in the night, but so right now the way the watches are set up, we have Blackwin and, well, you guys can tell me just to make sure. So right now Blackwin and Donquin are on first watch together, then followed by Archie alone, well, assuming one of the NPCs, so maybe Archie and Azaka, then Aelin and Masika, and then Baz and
Baz and Archie are first.
Yeah, Baz and Archie are taking first watch.
Baz and Archie are first. Okay, so I'll put you guys on number 1. So Baz and Archie together are first. Who's on second watch?
I could go second with Masika, because basically at that point, from a logistical standpoint, we would have both at least gotten a short rest.
Sure. Okay. And then third, who wants to be third?
Sure. Me and...
Yeah, I'll do it with Blackwin.
Okay.
Me and Blackwin haven't been on watch before.
Blackwin and Jonah. And then we'll say Donquin and Azaka for the fourth.
Yeah.
Everybody takes a 2-hour watch. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Zendala does not volunteer for any watches unless someone forces her to.
Of course.
You know, she's probably not
get your beauty
observant anyways. So.
Yeah,
we
get your
need it.
if we need it.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't fucking drown it.
I'm taking any attack spells today.
I like her.
Before we go to bed, I'm going to heal Baz for catching me.
I want to cover.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
I don't need mirror.
And don't forget to add one more hit die, everybody, because rounding up.
Oh yeah, if you're down hit dice, yeah. Also, so Donquin casts a spell.
And as I you can see on my
take him down.
That I have on all stuff. They're kind of like green. They glow like green and blue. You go.
He's possessed. Kill him.
Cool.
Yeah. Everything okay?
Oh, fine. So that just happens when I use magic on stuff, like in tune with nature on it. Which is like it glows on stuff on the shoulder. It has like 3 different like shoulder plates and stuff like that on stuff on its shoulders and stuff that are already like a dark blue and green type of color on stuff, and they just kind of the green light kind of lightning kind of glows a little bit more every time when I use my magic.
And it doesn't hurt.
It's just natural thing on stuff. That is all.
Must be nice.
I have a sea serpent snake head for a shoulder pauldron, by the way. Just when you were saying that you don't like violence versus animals, but this is a very violent animal.
That is okay. I said also
I know.
some
I'm
of them
just like
deserve it. Some of them are not good and deserve it. It's okay.
survival's different.
All right.
Cool. So I'm
Um,
attuning to Ouroboros.
So anybody else? I guess nobody's. No, yeah, we're all good. Okay, so yeah, make sure if you're swapping on any spells today or whatever, you do that.
Oh,
Um,
damn it. The rain stick does not recharge.
Oh,
for the control weather.
Yeah.
The who's on second watch?
That's me.
Yeah.
That was Aiden.
Everything happens to Aiden. Aiden, sorry.
Aelin, you're on second watch with Masika. As the rest, so this is like the middle of the night. As you are kind of like sitting there watching your snoozing comrades as they sleep, there is, there's actually, if you can give me a perception check. You're exhaust. We'll say for the purpose of this, your exhaustion's gone at this point.
Well, from the short rest, I would have gotten it gone anyway, right?
No, exhaustion goes away on a long rest.
Oh, is it just short rest overland?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Because it's like an 8-hour sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But either way, we'll say
in the
for
tower?
the purpose of this, it's gone. Yes, please.
I'm using the spyglass, so
Oh,
that would negate the disadvantage.
Okay. Well, actually, yeah, make a.
Nah, that's
no?
fine.
Okay, sounds good. Nothing happens. No, there is something that happens. So as you're sleeping away, snoozing,
Not sleeping.
not sleeping, as your party is sleeping away, snoozing, there something happens, and when this happens,
Roll initiative.
oh, what's it gonna be? I'm building up the suspense.
The
The
tower.
puppy.
a mouse
a
runs
mimic.
across.
Something good happens.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
You catch a
Traveling
leprechaun.
salesman.
And
Chewingas!
a lot of gold.
Come on, Chewingas.
Nope.
Chimichangas.
Not Twigos.
I find 5 greater healing potions.
Nope. Aelin, you're just out on the northern wall, just outside, kind of keeping watch. Masika's out on the western wall, looking out that way. And as you're looking around with your spyglass occasionally, the bonfire that's over in the agriculture district kind of it seems it's just kind of like dying down, so you can barely make it out flickering now. So it looks like they just had it into the early parts of the evening. And as well, the lights and lanterns and whatever that's lighting up the base over here have gone out as well, or mostly just a few. You can see what looks to be maybe a patrol kind of wandering around with like a lantern, kind of swinging. Even from this distance, you can kind of make them out. But as you're kind of scanning over that direction, something catches your eye across the boulevard, just about like right here. There's a building. See that one with a little gold triangle on the top?
Yeah.
It's taller than the rest. It's got like a bit of a spire. You don't know if it was a church or what it is. But as you're kind of like scanning that direction with the spyglass, at first you almost miss it. But as it goes past, you realize that there is a figure standing on the top of that tower. And you kind of like move back towards it, and you see that there is a rather large-looking man. He's wearing a breastplate that's carved with intricate symbols. It looks very kind of an old style, almost like Greek, kind of like bronze breastplate is what it kind of looks like. Bronze shoulder pads as well, kind of like a leather skirt. He has a large two-handed kind of a sword over his shoulder on his back. He's got some sort of like helmet with like a plate that moves down that's currently covering his face. The helmet is it looks like a stylized like maybe like a jaguar or something, but it's made of like burnished kind of like bronze. His face is covered, but you can see two small points of like kind of like reddish light in the eyes. And he looks to be like holding on to the top of the spire with one hand and kind of like scanning the city. The other thing you notice, kind of like squinting in the moonlight through the spyglass, is the few you notice on his wrists he has like gauntleted hands with vambraces carved with the symbol of Ubtao on them. It's very similar to Masika's.
Mhm.
But you notice he's got like some heavy boots, but you do notice that in the gap between where his leather skirt is and the top of his boots, one of his legs is just completely skeletal. The other one does have flesh on it and looks like normal. But he kind of scans around and kind of looking around, doesn't notice you kind of crouching there with the spyglass. But then you see him seemingly see something down below, on maybe in one of the streets, and then he immediately kind of turns, and you see the eyes kind of flare, and as they flare, they kind of have like this purplish like nimbus around them, and he draws the sword, and immediately you see like flame kind of go out from the handle and like coat the entire blade, and he leaps from the top of the building down onto the street. There's a couple flashes of light, and then kind of like a shuddering kind of boom, not as loud as the one you heard earlier, and then silence.
Friggin' Moon Knight.
What do you do? Anything?
I'm kind of like, I'm gonna pause and see if like make sure he's still not in line of sight, and then just sort of curl back inside and just get Masika's attention.
Okay.
Did you just hear that sound?
She kind of comes in, goes over towards you. She's like, that sounded like some sort of explosion or something. Pretty quiet though, not like that other one that shook the whole place.
Yeah, I think I may have seen our yelling man. He had a jaguar helmet, and he had the same bracers as you have with the symbol of Uptow on them.
Like a jaguar helm. Anything
Yeah.
else? Did you see his face?
No, the helmet, it was covering all his face, but I don't know if he's still alive. One of his legs looked like it was just bone, and his eyes were glowing red, and his sword lit on fire. It was a lot.
Her
Super production value.
her eyes kind of like widen when you mentioned. She's like, "Oh, it's impossible. It can't be." It's like, undead, you think?
I have to assume, unless it's just for show.
She kind of like looks a little. Frankly, she looks a little scared, and she's like, unless it's someone else using his weapon. You've described one of the beret, Raj Tafima.
Fuck. That's not great. He seemed to be fighting something on the streets. I don't know if it was what he was yelling about earlier. I don't know if it was, other undead, or maybe the Flaming Fist are sneaking around there at night, but I think we should be careful about that.
She kind of nods. She's like, and if it isn't who you just described, either way, it sounds like someone who's potentially a great threat to us. Tefima's weapon was well known. Powerful flames, two-handed. He wielded it in battle. Feared throughout the realm. He was our greatest warrior. So if he somehow is here, and if he views any of us as intruders to the city, well, we best avoid him at all costs. Because in his prime, he's like, frankly, and I've seen you all in battle, he would destroy us.
Fair. Any reason to believe why he might be like trapped in the residential section? Like, if he has free roam of the city, why hasn't he just obliterated the flaming fist?
She just kind of like shakes her head. She's like, so many questions. I wish I knew. I don't know.
Well, I guess if
I
we
mean,
do run
the
into
beret
him, maybe we let you do the talking.
She nods. She's like, the beret were given powers by Ubtao. Perhaps somehow he's still empowering them. Maybe he's bound to the city because of that. But Ubtao, I don't know. I don't understand the true nature of the beret. I was not. Frankly, I wasn't that important.
Well, you're one of the best leads we've got right now, so don't sell yourself short.
She's like, but if it is him, there's a statue in the temple tomorrow. If you can confirm whether it was the man you saw, assuming the statue is still recognizable.
Well, and Donaquin said he hadn't heard that noise before, or at least not the night previous, so maybe this is a new thing, or maybe he's not always there.
No, it's perhaps. Well, we'll keep a close eye out, but let's wake the others and tell them what we saw. She would kind of lean down and shake whoever's next for watch to kind of wake you up.
Yeah.
Which would be Blackwind and Zaka.
Five
no, Blackwind and Joanna, sorry.
Yeah, just, keep an eye on the residential area, but try and do your best to not draw attention.
There's some ghetto stuff happening over there. Drive-bys. Sweet. And a demigod or semi-god like guy.
Potentially.
That guy was the one that she described as the guy that controlled the aspect of fire.
Yeah.
Okay, but he looked possibly undead though.
Well, yeah, he had a leg that was bone, and his eyes were glowing red. I don't know if that was part of the package or not.
Okay, I'm just writing a note down. That's all.
Masika's not sure. She's like, I don't know. As I said, I never met any of the Beret in person. I didn't know. I've never heard of him having a bone leg.
Bone saws ready. Maybe it just looked weird from here. I'm just trying to be positive.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah, maybe you're eating that fruit again.
Oh yeah.
No, don't remind him.
Okay. I'll keep my my watch mostly over that area then.
Okay.
At least the visual, anyways.
I will assist. I'll also ask Blackwind if he wants any fruit.
I'm good. If I trip balls, it might be bad. I'll fucking strip naked and go running through the jungle or something.
Oh. I'd be right there with you.
some CCR
And
would
thus
start
the
playing.
story of Blackwind and Jonah concluded.
Now legends are
Included.
spoken.
Just started.
Yeah, legends are spoken of. An
Some say
orc
they're
and a
still running
gnome.
to this day.
To this day, people swear they see it on when the moonlight
When the
is just right.
Yeah, when the moonlight is just right.
You'll smell one before you see the other.
Blue juice streaking down their chins. So the rest of the night is uneventful, and nothing else occurs other than those few cries. When the sun, whoever's on last watch, when the sun kind of cracks in the sky, and opens up, there is kind of a few kind of mournful, kind of like almost like sorrowful cries that echo throughout the residential district, and then just silence as the sun creeps over the horizon.
Definitely not the same as that rooster.
So Donna-Quinn would have been on that last watch. Donna-Quinn and Azaka, I guess. Those cries you would have heard the last morning too, Sean. All right, so it's the 13th, the third day, 13th of chess. Why
That
don't
also
we
makes
take our break since it's just after 7? We'll come back at like 20 after, and we'll see what happens in your further adventures in Mezro.
It's off of me now. I do believe it would be off today, like this morning. It was 11th and the 12th, and then this is the 13th. So I had it for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm just making sure I was doing my math right. Had to do
Alright.
it on my fingers. 1, 2.
We will be right back.
Well,
All right, we are back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prisoners with jobs. Might watch the movie again.
Prisoners with jobs.
Hope everybody had a good break. It's morning
So
now. The events of the previous day long passed in your memory as dreams of sugar plums and lollipops, danced in your head.
And beret.
And hags.
Yeah, no hags this evening. A sinister creature that you saw, or maybe sinister. You're not really sure. You have know nothing about him. What would you guys like to do in the morning as you wake up and prepare for your day?
Well, put some bug dope on.
Yeah.
Bug repellent. Done. Do you need some bug repellent?
He's still sleeping.
No.
Sean is away still, or
Sorry.
there you go.
Would you like some insect repellent so you don't get bit today?
Insect repellent?
Yeah, do you need it actually? Because we have to use it because it helps keep the bugs and malaria away.
Mad monkey fever.
Shivering sickness.
Shivering sickness, that's the one. Mad monkey fever. is-
Throat leeches. Don't want throat leeches.
Sure.
Yeah,
Everybody else is doing it, sure.
yeah.
Just wasn't sure.
Mechanically, if you have natural armor, potentially if you don't use it, you potentially might have to make a Constitution save against shivering sickness. Creatures with natural armor have advantage on that save, so you and Baz have advantage. But that doesn't mean you can't contract it. So why risk it, right? If you have the option.
We also have
I
Liz.
can
You,
help
you
you.
don't even need it because
she
you
does.
got she's got that tent or the parrot. Or,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
she
enough.
can't get diseased. Yeah.
While you're wearing that amulet, that's right.
I can't get diseased. I can still get bit by bugs. Just it's annoying.
Yeah, it's still itchy and annoying to get bit
Fair
all the
enough.
time. So
That's right. The actual effect. Yeah, that's
But-
just the actual.
yeah.
Alright,
Alright.
I will.
See,
I
slather
will
up some
probably-
dope. Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
She gave some to Donna Quinn, I think
Yeah.
she said.
I'm just gonna mark. I'm just marking off 2 from my 100 that I have. I bought a lot,
Okay.
so I'll just check.
So, about the events of the night, I guess over breakfast, yeah, do we? I guess probably avoid that area then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a nighttime thing, but
Well, we have no idea.
we don't know
Because
about.
Donnequin didn't even hear it the night before, so.
No, the barks and the mournful cries were heard at dusk and dawn, so that part seems to be night,
Yeah.
a night thing. But could yeah, I was gonna say, would I like, I don't know, history or religion wise, have any idea of like if a powerful spirit or a powerful creature had a powerful goal in life, if that can like tie them even into death?
Yeah, potentially.
Or
There's various
something like that.
curses, and you've encountered ghosts, unfinished
Yeah.
business. Yeah.
Like if
Mummies?
he's not still alive, it could be something of that nature, that even if he's undead, he may not be evil, he may just be carrying out his mission. And
Shade. His former self?
yeah, like it was such a powerful mission that it carried him into death, even that he
Or
still,
that he failed and it cursed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question
Something
is
like
if he would regard us as intruders or
that's
not.
the thing. He may regard anything as intruders, or he may be bound to that district, he may not be, I don't know. We
Well, I
don't
Say
know.
hear
we avoid it for
Undead
now
only
and
see in black and white.
learn about it if we can.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They don't see any shades, just black and white.
Oh.
What's the weather going to be like today?
That's a good question. The weather
Here's a globe.
The weather forecast.
I bet Donnequin knows.
There is light. It's going to be light rain. In fact, the drizzle from this evening is still carrying on this morning. And it is... Whew, it is a extremely hot and humid day in the basin. Even the rain doesn't cut the heat much at all. Today is like sticky, like ridiculously, like 30 degrees warmer than you've encountered in this area.
Is it raining or is it just humid?
It's. I mean, yeah. But yeah, it is sticky, like oppressively hot today.
Well, at least we won't be lacking for water.
Celsius warmer?
No, I think it's Fahrenheit. It's got to be Fahrenheit, otherwise you guys, it's like, well, you're on the surface of the sun today.
You're literally dying.
You're literally dead.
We're in an oven.
You're literally boiling.
Flaming fist.
I say, I know what the weather's going to be. How do you guys know what the weather's going to be today?
He's got a magic stick.
A magic stick.
A weather knowing.
Yeah, even better, he can change it. Go ahead and do it, Aelin. Change the weather.
Maybe get it a little cooler.
Sorry, I zoned out for a second there. Yeah, I have we found this at the ruins of another city, and it can let me it lets me cast Druidcraft.
Oh.
I
Wow.
might be familiar with.
A little bit.
If they took all your stuff, do you need a weapon or anything? Like a quarterstaff or anything like that?
I used to have a quarterstaff. It was so pretty.
Mine's pretty simple, but if you want, you can borrow mine. I don't end up using it very often.
You can use it for a walking stick. If nothing else.
Sure.
Sure, that'd be great.
So our plan is, we're gonna go see the Flaming Fist first.
Quarterstaff is in.
I think the plan is we're gonna travel up to the tower.
Straight to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And if we happen to run into the Flaming Fist, then we'll have a chat. But
Okay.
Yeah.
If we encounter them, Blacken won't like run away, but he'll like, step back, so that he's not at the forefront for talking. Like he doesn't want to be in that place.
Sure. Okay.
He's got control over his resentment, so it's just he just will try to remove himself from being the mouth that destroys everything. In fact, if anything, maybe like Baz or somebody walking first as opposed to and I'll take up the back side for a change.
That's a good point. Should we try and get Donaquin's stuff back?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
They took
Should we
it.
do that first?
Honestly, also for me, I wouldn't worry about going out of the way to find it. There was nothing
Friends?
hugely important in there. There was nothing magical, things like that. Also, that cannot be easily replaced.
Yeah, but it's the principle of the matter. I feel like.
Like I say, it was just mundane adventure stuff. It really wasn't anything stuff sacred or stuff for family heirlooms or anything. Stuff. If we happen to come across it, that would be okay because it would help also to not have to replenish it. But I wouldn't deviate stuff from your guys'
a man of the earth.
I have an extra
You live
bag
from the earth.
you can have.
I actually have a backpack. They threw down. They basically emptied my backpack and threw it at me, so it's there, but there's nothing in it.
Okay.
Lucky. How nice of them.
Right. But yeah,
Took the extra step to open it, empty it, and then give it back to you. That's it. Okay.
right.
Stepped on my stuff.
Okay.
Talk to Donaquin about his ways that he commutes with the nature and explain to him the way I can too.
Nature bros.
Yeah, dude, let's go smoke some of the sick weed over here.
not too old for that now.
Yeah. Some fruit that Jonah loves.
But it is nice to know also that there's other somebody else here also attuned also to nature as well. It is very fascinating.
I'm more more with the animals. I can detect plants as well, like certain specific plants. But
So you can talk to the animals too?
yeah, no,
Nice.
they are
I like this guy already.
Just wait a little while.
What's that supposed to mean?
Ab-
I'll open
you know
doors
what?
unexpectedly.
I think we should go.
Yeah.
I think she means also the longer I know you, the more I'll like you. I think that's
They don't understand nature, man.
I really don't. I really, really don't.
now
You
it's getting
understand?
really creepy.
You understand dirt and rock,
I understand dirt, but not nature.
rock and roll.
Rocks and bones. That's my jam.
So yes, thank you also for what you wanted to go out of the way, Aileen, and all that stuff. But I insist on stuff. We continue on stuff forward. I think that's much more important.
Okay, well, you just let us know if you see something that's yours.
Nature, all of nature is mine.
That big ass diamond
Wow.
is mine.
That's
I
a piece
left
of
it.
candy.
Piece of candy.
It was in my backpack. It was.
Woo, piece of candy.
All right, so yeah, we'll head up north.
Okay.
We're staying on the wall, right? Is from what I
For as
understand.
long as we can, we may as well use the wall.
Stay out of the water and the crocs
Yeah.
Sure. Are you
or
guys?
whatever else.
Are you guys moving? Like, are you trying to be stealthy or just walking along the wall, seeing what you can see?
I think we're just walking.
Walking.
Just walking today.
Yeah.
Taking in the sights of it from
I
during
would
the
say
day.
if we spot or hear the dude from last night, it seems like is bad news, then maybe, but
Run away.
maybe that's just a nighttime thing.
Yeah, I'll be keeping my eyes
You
peeled.
may summoned him or
I-
something.
I think he's Moon Knight.
I don't know what that means.
Here's another Marvel here.
He's Bat Moon.
Yeah,
That
it's kind
TV show.
of Batman
Coming.
So
All
with
right.
a sort of natural.
I'm just taking notes.
Well, as you guys make it to about here on the wall, hexes make it difficult. Maybe I should have just put it like a square grid on this. But as you make it to about here, there's a large crumbling staircase that leads down in the inside of the wall. If you wanted to go down there, you could. It basically, the bottom of the staircase disappears in a dense tangle of vines and ferns and trees. Doesn't look like there's anything left as far as like a road down there. Continuing forward, when you get up to the northern part of this road, where these next steps are, it looks like there might have been at one point a bridge that crossed the boulevard below, but it's now there's just like some like heavy, thick kind of rope-like vines that grow across, hanging down, and kind of drape the whole thing with like these like flowering, like tendril-like vines that kind of like hang, just barely touching the water. Again, there's another staircase. Thick. You can just make out maybe some cobblestones that lead to a dilapidated building. Doesn't look like it's inhabited. Completely overgrown.
Oh god, I could spend the rest of my life here.
fixer upper.
If you're
Five-
not
5 million
careful,
gold.
you might.
I just mean clearing out building by building.
You can see across the way.
Sorry, really quick. Are you mapping as you go?
Oh
along?
yeah, I'm taking notes on what and where things
It's
are.
like half the reason why we came here is for the map. So yeah.
I mean, the map of the temple is the main reason.
Oh, is it?
But yes, he wants the temple full.
Oh, I thought he wanted you to map the entire city.
No, I'm just doing that of my own accord.
Oh.
Well, that's going to map the temple.
That's a significantly easier deck.
Yes.
I was like, we're gonna be here for like a week, right?
Are you
That's
are you
Well,
sure
you
about that?
Yes.
You don't have to map out the exact
Then
syllable.
yeah. I
quest
thought he
is
said,
wrong.
I want a map of